All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Appreciate you guys joining me today and waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. It is July 22nd. It is Wednesday. For some reason, I thought yesterday was Wednesday. I thought today was going to be Thursday, and that is not the case. But yeah, hope you are all doing well today. Ray, Savage Joker, Prince, Ghetto God, Titus, what is going on? Welcome. Spent 40 quid on a Chinese takeaway. Was meant to use the 15 credit they gave, and it didn't work. Uh-oh. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. If you enjoy the streams, if you enjoy the channel, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. Today, we're talking about a couple of games. You know, we've been talking about a lot of stuff this month, mainly the disc situation, understandably, but we are close. It is almost August, and August seems to be when things kick off for games, but really going from August into September. But hold on. Where'd all my tabs go? Okay. Yeah, so I meant to talk about KOTOR Remake the other day. I never got the chance to, but we're going to be able to do that here because there was actually a second update for KOTOR Remake, which was a little bit unexpected. You're saying, thank God Jennifer English left Tides of Annihilation. What makes you say that? I thought people like her as a voice actress. Do they not? Yeah, that was I don't know. She said she needed to step away from the role because I don't know, she was like overwhelmed with, maybe she like took on more than she could handle, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't look too deeply into it. Lady Gamer, what's going on? Petrov. So I am testing something today with the latency. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, people were saying that they were having some issues. They were having issues with the streams recently where they keep getting some kind of, I don't know, I guess buffering or latency. So I'll be curious to see if you guys experience any of that today, because I'm doing the stream on normal latency. We'll see how that goes. Nicodemus, what's up, man? The neck, it's back and forth. Some days it's better than others. It was really bad yesterday. Feels a little bit better today, but we'll see. Oh, it was for health reasons. Okay, well, yeah, that's concerning. That makes sense. Another day fighting the good fight. I don't know if I would put it that way. Another day talking about games. But yeah, we will start here with Star Wars KOTOR. So people had come into my stream the other day. I had it in the title. I never got the chance to talk about it, but KOTOR Remake apparently is targeting a 2028 release. And I don't know, there seems to be a lot of concern. My chat size is bigger. I didn't make any changes there. But there seems to be a lot of concern around KOTOR Remake, and I mean, for good reason. The game was announced, what was it, September 2021? I think it was the show opener at a PlayStation showcase. And people were not, I guess you could say, ready for what was going to happen next, which was, because it seemed like, this is a big deal. It was supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive. And again, it was the show opener, but your streams are the only streams I watch where I can only watch if I'm 10 seconds or more behind. It's been that way for months for me. I'm actually watching live right now. Is it? So is this better now, Ghetto God? Like, are you still 10 seconds behind? Do you have to be 10 seconds behind, or is it working well for you now? I do wonder if it's because I had it set to ultra low latency. It's better now? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit, like I said, I was a little bit caught off guard when people were saying that, because it was a lot of people. Like, a lot of people were saying, like, yeah, basically got to watch your stream on a delay. So hopefully, if we can do it this way going forward, that'll work. What's the drama today? I don't know. I'm sure there's some kind of drama. There's drama every day. There was drama around KOTOR Remake, though. Okay, Mrs. MBG is confirming that it's good for her too. All right, good, good. Um, yeah, KOTOR Remake. I mean, when this game was announced, people were incredibly excited for it. I mean, they were very, very, very excited because KOTOR is it's a game that people really love and they hold dearly, and so the idea of it getting a remake, a proper remake, and I think it was Aspire that was working on it. But as the years went on, we weren't getting any updates, no trailers, nothing. It was just MIA. We did eventually get a report. I think it was actually from Jason Schreier that apparently there was some kind of problem behind the scenes where Aspire, that is, they developed a portion of the game, and when it came time to, I guess, show off a vertical slice of the progress they've made to both Sony and Lucasfilm or LucasArts, that being Sony and LucasArts, were like, this is bad. This is not good. And from that point forward, we didn't really know what was going to happen. But over time, what ended up happening, we found this out kind of through the grapevine. What ended up happening is a new team took over, that being Saber Interactive. And they've been working on it for years now. We have no idea if Sony's still involved. I'm going to say Sony isn't still involved. I think after they split with Aspire, maybe they were just like, we're out. We're not taking this risk. I would be surprised if Sony was still directly involved. But that's what's interesting, is if you go back to the initial reveal trailer of KOTOR Remake, the Sony Interactive Entertainment logo did appear at the beginning, which usually, that indicates that Sony is like directly involved funding the game. But I don't think that's the case anymore. Mini Tom, what's going on, man? Top Shelf. Yeah, I saw that. Xbox released some backwards compatibility for Xbox games on PC. That's quite... I mean, I feel like there were rumors of that a while ago, but people weren't sure if it was going to happen or not. It seems like, it happened. You bet it was the gameplay pitch that was bad. I'm not sure. Apparently they wanted to, I don't know, they really wanted to modernize the gameplay or make it more action oriented, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that's what KOTOR fans actually wanted or not. But hold on, let me check something here. It did it again. Dude, I want the record to show. I checked 5 minutes ago to see if my ads were still set to manual. They were. I'm checking again. Nothing happened, by the way. Nothing happened. I just checked again. They're set to automatic. I didn't do that. I did not set them to automatic. I'm telling you, YouTube's latest update, at least on my channel, I don't know if it's for everybody's channel. On my channel, it like doesn't let me keep it set to manual. It automatically changes over to automatic, which is why as I'm going through my stream, people are like, oh, I got an ad, you know? I just want the record to show that, because that's been a problem for like a couple weeks now. But yeah, when it comes to KOTOR Remake, so we now know that Saber Interactive is the one working on it. We haven't seen it yet. They haven't shown anything. They've just been quietly behind the scenes doing their work. And we're hearing that according to who is it Embracer Group still? I think Embracer Group is still the one publishing it. According to them, they're targeting a 2028 release for KOTOR Remake. But we also have an insider. Now, I'm not too familiar with this insider, but apparently he's considered very reliable when it comes to Star Wars related leaks. He goes by the name 100% Star Wars. And he says that development on the game has not only been ramping up, but it's going extremely smoothly over at Saber. It's been smooth for the past 3 years since Saber started from scratch. And he does say that, you know, this makes it believable that the game is actually going to be ready for a 2028 launch. He also says they've been hiring some extremely high-end talent from across the industry, and Saber is very much a unified front when it comes to the development of this game, with resources and talent being pulled from all over the company. Unfortunately, development of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is going so well. Why is it worded like that? Development of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake going so well is not a guarantee for a 2028 release. That's all. That's what the insider also said. He's saying he's not guaranteeing it's coming out in 2028, but he is coming out. And I think that's good news. You know, it seems like people, I don't know, man, people were pretty convinced, and I was too, that KOTOR Remake was going to get scrapped. It was in development hell. It's going to end up being vaporware. One of these situations where here it is. Here is the, here's the game we're making. Please be excited. And then it just collapsed in on itself. And so, when stuff like that happens, it's common for people to, it's common for people to automatically assume that it's gone for good, and I think this is a little bit of a surprising situation where not only is it not gone, it's still happening. It's switched developers. It was in development hell, but now apparently it's in a place where development is going very smooth. I feel like the last time we actually saw this happen was with another remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake. If I recall, that game was given to a development studio that was apparently not up to the task. YouTube turned autoplay on again. You've had it all for years. Can't seem to find a setting to turn it off now. Don't you just love when YouTube rolls out their updates and it just completely scrambles your settings that you've probably spent like years trying to tweak and get just right? Don't you love it? Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I think this is like an ideal turnout where you have a situation where game it's pretty much on fire. It seems like it's over. There's no way to salvage it, but then a studio comes in, they reboot it, they start over, and it goes very well. And what's interesting is Saber Interactive, they've really been proving themselves over the years. I mean, what they did with Warhammer 40K, Space Marine, they're working on the John Wick game. So, and, among many other projects that they've been working on this generation. So it's been really interesting to see their kind of rise. And I do think that if they nail the KOTOR remake, that's going to put Saber Interactive. If they nail KOTOR remake and they nail a John Wick game, I mean, they might be one of the, best developers in the world at that point. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. But when it comes to KOTOR remake, I mean, it is one of these things where we're hearing developments going smoothly. We see the path it was on, or I guess you could say the tumultuous path it had to take. But I do have to wonder if it's going to be able to live up to expectations, because it does remind me of Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the expectations were so high for that. And it makes sense why Square kind of wanted to reboot it and, take it on internally, or, they just weren't happy with how it was going. They probably knew like this isn't going to be good. I do wonder if when it's shown again, I mean, you have to assume we'd see gameplay, if it's really going to live up, if it's going to get people as excited, if people are going to look at it and be like, this was worth the wait, or if it's going to be one of these things where it's like, we'll see. Space Marine 3, I was watching a preview for today. Wish they would do that with Anthem. Damn it. Anthem, dude. Anthem. There was so much hype around Anthem, and it just kind of like, I don't know, it all petered out. So you, aka Mr. Hamster, with a super chat. He says, "War has changed." I can't do an old Snake voice. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of Twitter battles fought for physical discs and gamer rights. Absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's turned into. I mean, I saw today on my video that I put out, people are getting mad at me because I'm trying to cover like game news for PlayStation, and it's like, you're not allowed to do that. Well, geez, geez. I get it. But you're not wrong there. So it does seem like it's going to be it seems like it's going to be an endless battle. There's no end. Thank you, Soyu, aka Mr. Hamster. They should remaster Concord. They should not. If I recall, Anthem was the closer for, I think it was like Xbox's E3 2016 or 2017. It was the closer. It was like the big final reveal, and the hype was through the roof, man. But it was strange to see. I don't know. It's been strange to see the just complete downfall of what is the name of the studio? Why can't I remember the name? It's on the tip of my tongue. They're making Mass Effect now. You know the studio. Why can't I think of their name? Somebody will tell me. This is what happens when I finally put my stream on an actual delay. This is what happens. Give it a second. It's driving me nuts that I can't. BioWare. I got it. If you typed it, I didn't read it. It didn't show up in the chat yet. BioWare. Took that long. It took that long. It's not good. That's not good. But Daniel, I appreciate that. I got it, though. I got it before you said that. It's been weird to see the complete downfall of BioWare. I mean, they are a studio that, they were really considered one of the best in the industry. And I think Anthem was kind of the beginning. Anthem was kind of the beginning of them really, I think, in the eyes of a lot of gamers, the beginning of their fall from grace, I suppose. And now, I don't know, I think they are working on Mass Effect. We'll see. The old Anthem's trailer is kind of heartbreaking now. Did you see that Forza did work? Xbox Series consoles are up 86% in the month of June. No, I haven't seen that. Did we get like an NPD report? I haven't seen anything on. The only thing I saw Xbox related today was the backwards compatibility. I guess that isn't too surprising, though. I mean, Forza Horizon doing work. I feel like Forza Horizon has been doing work for Xbox the entire time. Blame it on my injury. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's true. Mass Effect Andromeda was also a failure. BioWare, they're the original developers of KOTOR, aren't they? Right? They did. That's the irony. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so geez. I didn't realize there was a lot of crossover here. I think that's why it was such a big deal at, what was it, the Game Awards, right? They announced that Star Wars RPG, and people were like, oh my God, even though it was just a CG trailer, because they made a big fuss about, was it Casey Hudson, I think his name is? He was He was like the head guy at BioWare. He's now doing the Star Wars game. Right? It all makes sense now. We need to learn to trust companies again, but they need to earn it. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to go in that direction, Titus. Like, as a society. Unfortunately. I don't know. I want to believe we can, but I'm not entirely sure. There's going to have to be... I don't know. There's going to have to be some major turnover that has to occur. And I don't know that I'm seeing that at the moment. Time will tell, though. Time will tell. But I don't know. I've been really thinking about the future, obviously, of my channel, my personal gaming life. I mean, those two things are deeply intertwined. I've been thinking deeply about these things. And, the one thing that... And I was really pondering this because we watched it together, Mystic's video yesterday. And look what they put in our food. We're not going to go there, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I was watching Mystic's video yesterday, and yeah, I just, I have to come to terms with a simple fact here. And I don't think it's a bad one. But Titus is not an abusive moderator, please. He's been a moderator for a day. Already getting labeled abusive. It's the simple reality for me that I'll never be able to get away from. And I don't take, I don't have any shame in it, but it's the fact that, like, I've always said, and it's funny because I was thinking about it, I'm like, I have always said this. I've said this from the very beginning, from the onset. It's all about the games. It's always been about the games. And that's true. I mean, sometimes I get so wrapped up in stuff, I forget that it's like, dude, you play video games for enjoyment. You know what I mean? You play video games to feel good, not to feel bad. That doesn't make everything okay. Far from it. I am an adult now, so I see things differently. I see things with the eyes of an adult, not a child anymore. Although sometimes you wouldn't know it. But it can't necessarily be as simple as it once was. That's the nature of getting older. But yeah, man, it is just it's one of these things where it's like, when it comes down to it, and I'm thinking it's like you're in or you're out. You're in or you're out. And I realize I'm always going to be in because, for better or for worse, in terms of the business side of it, I just care too much about playing games. Not just new games. I mean, I have a backlog as well, but just games in general. I did read a comment that somebody left on my stream yesterday, and it did really kind of make me think. They were like, what are you going to do when Astro Bot 2 comes out? Well, they didn't word it so kindly, but they were like, what are you going to do when Astro Bot 2 comes out? And I'm like, they're like, you said you're not spending a dime on PlayStation anymore, but your son's going to want to play Astro Bot 2, and you're going to want to play it with him. So what are you going to do? And I'm like, damn, kids. No, I'm just kidding. But it made me think, and like, what about Physint? And I'm like, that's true. But it's not just pertaining to PlayStation. It's just generally speaking, like, part of my frustration that I've talked to you guys about is like, I don't like the feeling of the weaponization of our love of games. It's very disheartening to see that, and it's very hard to fight against. And we have Sun Sequeda coming in, seemingly renewing their membership. Sons, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it, buddy. And we also have Ray. Metal Gear Ray comes in. He says, well, this is what he says.
All aboard!
Ray, thank you so much for dropping 5 member gifts. Yeah, guys, if you are lucky enough to receive a member gift today. Oh, look at that. Mr. Hamster got a member gift. Look at that. So you. If you are lucky enough to receive a member gift, please go check out a member exclusive video that I released a couple of days ago. It's a 30-minute gameplay commentary. Dark Souls 1. It's my personal Dark Souls story. The people who watched it seem to have really enjoyed it. So Consider checking that out. And yeah, like I have been telling you guys, we are bringing back members content. So if you are a channel member, please look forward to more. If you're not a channel member, consider becoming one. Consider gifting. It helps tremendously, allows me to do what I do here. So let me update the member goal there. You can also super chat and drop direct donations. I mean, you guys know how we do it here, so really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, look, I've been getting really caught up in a lot of these things, and it's fine. These conversations, these discussions, they're not just going to go away. You know, there's many aspects of the industry that are not going away or changing anytime soon that will absolutely play a role in the discussions we have throughout, you know, the course of not just this year, but going into years beyond on the channel. But I realize, like, you know, over the years, people have been asking me, like, MBG, we just really want you to talk more about games. That's what we want. We want you to talk more about games. But, like, not just PlayStation games, just games in general. And I realized, you know, I'm kind of looking back at my content. I'm like, I do talk about games, but yeah, it's like, it doesn't play as much of a role in the discussions as they once did. And that's not necessarily because I haven't been playing games. I have, but it's just, I don't know. It's just a slight transformation I've noticed over the years with the channel. I'm like, maybe this would be a more appropriate time to try to get back to that. Because if there's one piece of feedback that I have received specifically this month, but, you know, months prior as well, is sometimes I get overly fixated on a singular topic. And it can become difficult, you know, it can become difficult to move on from a certain topic, but it sometimes carves out a specific energy on the channel. And it's like one of the things here on the channel that people have been noticing, which it's warranted. I'm not saying it's not warranted. I think everybody knows this, but it's like, oh, it's been really heading in a direction of like, so, like, are we just going to, like, rage every day and be angry every day and be upset every day and doom and gloom every day? And it's like, no, I literally don't want to do that every day. I literally can't do that every day, you know? But I think some people mistake that. They mistake it for, oh, and I guess you just don't care anymore. It's like, no, I'm a human being. I'm not treating, I don't necessarily like to treat what I do here on the channel as like, you know, I'm playing a character and there's an expectation and I have to stick to the script and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? I like to treat it as a reflection of me and how I'm engaging with these things. So anyway, the doom and gloom is becoming depressing. I mean, it does become a bit much. It doesn't change the fact that there are genuinely things to be doom and gloom about. You know, there are bad things that are worth acknowledging and talking about, but I do agree that like I do get nervous that like I don't want to completely shift the vibe of my channel into something where it's like, yeah, we're angry about everything all the time, you know? But I don't blame people. I mean, if you look at the past couple weeks on my channel, I don't blame people. It's like, MBG's leading the charge. Am I playing E-Day? I don't know. I mean, the problem with E-Day right now is I would have to buy an Xbox. That's literally the problem. If Gears of War E-Day was coming to PS5 day one, you know, assuming I'm still buying physical games, would it get a physical release? Maybe I would. Maybe I will buy an Xbox to play it. I don't know yet. The price increases of the Xbox consoles have really, I would say, put me in a position where I don't know that I'm going to buy an Xbox. I know that Microsoft is going back to exclusives. No, I don't. I have an Xbox One X. That was the last Xbox I bought. I don't have a Series X or a Series S. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that you're right. Gears of War E-Day is releasing on PC. So I do have an alternative option. I could play it on PC. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it. The problem with Gears of War E-Day is not the game itself. It's when it's launching. If Gears of War E-Day came out right now, there's a good chance I'd play it. Like right now, you know? Because it does look good. It does look like it's kind of a return to form for Gears. But the problem is it's coming out when literally everything else is coming out. And this is what I can't stand about the cadence of the games industry, where it's like, I know everybody's wants to get their releases in at the end of the summer, close to the holiday season, but it's like, really? Like, it's got to be everything? You think E-Day is dead? I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it does. Forza Horizon is doing well. I don't know if Gears of War E-Day is going to be able to keep pace with something like Forza Horizon, but I think Gears has a pretty loyal fan base that are, enough people are excited, I think. It's interesting. It's interesting that they're foregoing a PS5 release, though, I have to say. Just because I feel like it probably would have done well on PS5. If I had to just hedge a bet, I think it would have done pretty well. And that game was clearly very expensive to develop. So we'll see. They're taking a chance. They're going back to exclusivity. I can't blame them for choosing Gears of War. I feel like if there is a game you're releasing in the coming months that if you're going to try to do the exclusive route again, that's the game you probably want to go with. But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, worst case scenario, if it does flop on Xbox or something, they could always port it to PlayStation if they want to, That will continue to be an option. You have your physical copy pre-ordered. Nice. Your next game will be Blood of the Dawnwalker. I gave my crazy mate my launch PS5. It went up massively since then. I even left a 2 terabyte SSD in it because I was getting a 4 terabyte. That stinks. Sheesh. See what happens when you're nice? See what happens? But Asha's selling more Xboxes already, up 86%. I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. I feel that next generation is a complete question mark, even for PlayStation. But we will see what happens with Xbox, because if there's one thing we can say is that they are making a lot of changes. Whether or not those changes are truly going to translate to better sales for Xbox and wider adoption and a kind of small comeback in some way for their next gen console, I'm not sure. There's a lot of changes they're making, but there's too many things we still don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, if they announce that like Project Helix is actually not going to have Steam, or you can't install other storefronts, I think a lot of people are automatically going to be like, oh, no, thank you. Because I've noticed that was kind of a selling point for a lot of people. So it's questions like that we need answered before we can truly determine. I think E-Day is going to have multiplayer. Yeah. Sure. Like that's another thing that fascinates me about Microsoft's decision to make Gears of War E-Day a exclusive game, because it seems like it's going to be kind of a live service, right? The multiplayer for E-Day is going to be, I assume it's going to be treated like a live service, constantly updated, new content, all that stuff. But yeah, shifting gears back to KOTOR Remake, I do have a question for you guys. Yeah, Halo is out tomorrow, by the way. If you buy the Ultimate Premium Edition, you get like 5 days early access, which I think is digital only, ironically. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. I don't know if they're selling that version physically. Maybe they are. But I know that if you bought that version, you get it 5 days early. But I wanted to ask you guys this question about KOTOR Remake specifically. Do you think Sony is still involved with this game? Do you think when Saber Interactive re-reveals KOTOR Remake, which is apparently, by the way, that's another thing, the game is apparently set to be re-revealed sometime this year, maybe at the Game Awards. That seems like the most appropriate spot. Do you think Sony's still involved, or do you think that Sony just walked away and this is going to be a completely multi-platform game? Because here's the thing. If Sony is still involved, we're potentially looking at a PS6 exclusive for people who are going to buy the PS6. I do think it'll probably get a PC release, though. But if Sony walked away, this is going to be a completely multi-platform game. No, I didn't talk about Metal Gear Solid yet. That's next up. That's the next one. Yeah. I mean, you're saying in the chat Halo is dead. I don't know if Halo is truly dead or not. I think Campaign Evolved will probably do well. It does seem like behind the scenes, the Halo Studios team is having a hard time. It does seem like that. I mean, we've been getting all different reports, but how much of a delay am I on right now? Nobody answered my question. Yeah, so I'm going to say KOTOR Remake is going to be a completely multi-platform game. You're saying there's a lot of trolls here today. Who's trolling? Maybe I missed something. Flow? Is it Flow Ducks? That's probably who you're talking about, right? Maybe a little bit of trolling. You don't think you're going to get Halo? Yeah, I'm passing on Halo. I've never really been a Halo fan. I've tried to get into Halo, but it never really spoke to me in the way that it does to others. I know it's like a special franchise for a lot of people, but yeah, for me, I gave it a fair shake more than a few times, but I'm just like, I was more of a Call of Duty player than a Halo player. Yeah, I don't think Halo's dead. I just think that people are kind of curious to see what the future of Halo looks like with Halo Studios. But, they're putting out a remake of the first game. Simple enough. I think they'll nail that. You would get Halo if the game was on the disc. I mean, that's kind of the irony of it is it's not. If you do buy Halo Campaign Evolved physically, you do need to be connected to the internet. And I think there are significant downloads that you have to download in order to play it. So it just goes to show, even when we do get these physical discs, sometimes it's not necessarily perfect, We have Rich Rod with a $2 direct donation. He says, if you think Halo is a good game, you deserve to be Rich. You have proven to me with past chats that you are a normal person that can have a normal conversation. Can we bring that energy, Rich? Can we do that? I'm trying to detoxify here. Okay? I expect better from you, Rich. Let's go. Come on. Nonsense. If I read it, will you stop? Will you stop talking like that? How about that? Last read, and then you stop. What's my favorite Xbox game? I'm not sure. I mean, the Forza Horizon series has always been up there for me. State of Decay. Some people would say I have horrible taste, but I mean, I know it's not an Xbox game, but I remember Left 4 Dead 1, when that came out for the 360. I was like, sorry, Sony. Rich, he says he'll stop if I read it. Fine. Rich, don't break our promise here. All right. If you think Halo is a good game, you deserve to be shat on by an Eastern spotted monkey deuce. Who even where do you come up with this stuff? You disgusting, useless human being blank, breathe, blank, blank. Okay. That's the best I can do. Oh my God. Rich, stop being so volatile. You're a mod. Behave. Right. Don't make me take the mod chip away. We have that Ride or Die Jedi guy with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, man. He says, Yo, M, asking for all the guys like us who's had them all from OG Nintendo onward. Would you please be willing to do a session where you give a general overview of which PS5 Pro games play offline? I mean, I'm intimidated by that notion only because I feel like I'm not the expert on that. But I don't know. I could maybe at some point try to do something because I think people are going to want to know that, right? If the PlayStation 5 is the last PlayStation console where you're going to be able to buy physical games, it is true. 90%. I think it's about 90%. That percentage could be a little bit lower, could be a little bit higher by this point. But about 90% of all PS4 and PS5 disc-based games, the 1.0 versions are like completely playable from start to finish. Some of them maybe still have like bugs and stuff, not necessarily game-breaking bugs, but I don't know. It's one of these things where I know that there's the Twitter handle Does It Play. This is their whole expertise, right? They spend time going through every single release and making it clear this game is completely playable offline. Concord is not playable offline. Yeah, Concord, that's literally, I mean, if you have the Concord disc, that's literally just a coaster. But I don't know, maybe at some point we could do like a stream like that, perhaps, trying to run down a list, create a list or find a list. I'm sure it's already created mostly, right? Where which games could you, like if you were the person that decided I want to collect every PlayStation 5 game released, every physical release, if you were that person, then yeah, you would probably want to know which of those games are truly playable offline, because maybe you are that guy that doesn't want to connect your console to the PS5. You want it to be offline, and you just want to know, can I play these games? Maybe it's for preservation reasons. Am I going to PC next generation? I don't know. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do. I mean, I've been talking to you guys a lot about a possible rebrand and all this stuff. I'm not 100% sure about what I want to do other than one thing. The only thing I am sure about, and, this is a kind of take it or leave it type situation for people where I want people to support me, obviously. I want people to care about what I do here, but, I have to be transparent. The only thing I can say for certain is that I'm not quitting the playing of video games. Whether or not I'm going to play on PlayStation, whether or not I'm going to play on PC, whether or not I'm going to buy an Xbox at some point, or a Switch, perhaps, Switch 2. I was always planning on getting Switch 2 at some point. That's something that I'm going to try to put less focus on, because I don't know, like, that's the thing, man. I think that there are already many channels out there established where it's less about the coverage of games, it's less about the playing of games, and it's more about the coverage of the industry, the business side, the platform side. And again, those conversations are going to continue on the channel. But I think maybe I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't want to say it's a mistake, but it's definitely been I guess you could say, an intense experience over the past couple of weeks. I think I may have given people a false impression, if that's the right way to word it, like not intentionally, where I think people were, granted, I've said some crazy stuff over the past couple of weeks, so I can't blame anybody for having a certain thought in their mind. But I think people were under the impression that it's like I am shifting my channel into being like, we are just going full steam ahead. We are only covering problems in the industry and what's bad about it and how we're going to solve those problems. And I don't blame anybody, because I was literally out here like, cancel your pre-orders, do this, do that. And to be honest, I got that aggressive because I was looking to stop something right now. And it's clear that it's going to be a longer battle. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be a more drawn out situation where I don't want people to think I'm grifting, because I'm genuinely not. If I wanted to grift, it's like I said, I would be handling my channel in a very different way. The way I'm handling my channel now does not benefit me. Okay, so just please understand that if you are concerned that I'm not being genuine, that I'm hiding something, that I'm putting on some kind of performative act, please understand that everything that's been happening to my channel has not benefited me. That's not to say that I haven't gotten support. I have, and I appreciate that. I need that support. But I've gotten support every other month prior, and I'll probably continue to get support going forward. This isn't about trying to appease a specific group or anything like that. And I think some people take it that way. And that's why I'm trying to diffuse that, where it's like, that's not so much what this is about. That Ride or Die Jedi guy with a $5 chat. Thank you, man. He says, I'm asking because that way you can keep it fresh while showing your continued support for what we all believe in as a community as a whole. Yeah, and that's not a bad idea, Jedi guy, because the thing is, there's like a bittersweet notion to the end of the PS5 generation over the next year and a half. And that bittersweet notion is you can still buy physical discs. If that is something you care about, you can still do that. You can still partake in that. And that's what a lot of people are going to do. A lot of people already have the PS5. Most of those people have disc-based PS5s, right? It's why I've said a few times over now, and I'm sorry if I sound overly redundant, but it's just relevant to the super chat. It's why I've said numerous times that I really think the struggle for not just Sony, but just gamers in general, it actually kicks off with the PlayStation 6 and potentially Project Helix. That's when you're going to see, I think, possibly the greatest transformation in the games industry that we've seen in a long time, where it's like there's always been a certain way that next-gen consoles have been approached and handled. There's always been a certain energy behind it. And 9 times out of 10, there's always excitement. If somebody is messing up, like Sony messed up with the PS3, the excitement's still there for the 360. If Microsoft is the one messing up with the Xbox One, the excitement's there for PS4. And you could even see that like back with the PS2 and the PS1, what happened between Sony and Nintendo with the PS1. And this is how it's always been. I think what's truly an indicator that things are changing in a way that it's almost impossible to really, truly telegraph where things are going to end up. But as it stands right now, and there is time for things to be altered, as it stands right now, I don't see excitement for Sony or Microsoft next gen. I don't see excitement in general around what is supposed to be like the next step up, because in the eyes of most people, it's not a step up. It's not something that's getting them excited. It's not something that's keeping them fully engaged. I don't know if that's coming through the mic or not. But I do think that, there are many factors at play that we don't yet know. We don't have the answer to. It's too early to truly call the game, but I do feel pretty confident at this moment in time in saying that come next year, this time next year, when we're heading into the launch of the PlayStation 6, and assuming they don't get delayed, assuming they're still coming out at the end of next year, and Project Helix, I just think there's going to be a very noticeable lack of excitement to a degree that people are going to question, is this either A, the beginning of the end, or B, the end of the console market in a way that, Michael Werneth. We have Michael. I'm going to drop some memberships for you, MBG Werneth. He drops, what? Oh, he dropped 6. He wanted to make it 12. Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that, man.
Appreciate it.
Let me add that to the goal here. Guys, If we do hit the goal, we will feed the beast. Oh, hold on. Did he drop another single? He dropped another single. He dropped 7 membership gifts. If you receive a member gift, please look forward to some members content. Okay? We're bringing members content back slowly but surely. I'm going to wait to add that last member gift he dropped because it's a strange number to drop. He dropped 7. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I don't know if he's going to drop another. I'm going to wait because we're at 13 members. And there it is. He dropped another one, another single. Michael's trying to remind you guys that you can always drop single member gifts, and you can get a member train going with singles if you like.
All aboard!
He's doing a member train himself. I think he's trying to get us to 15. So he dropped a couple singles. We are now at 15. So I think he's trying to set you guys up. 10 more and we hit the goal of 25. Michael, thank you. If you're still dropping more, thank you. If you're finished, thank you. Either way, thank you. Always appreciate that, man. Dwayne says the gifted memberships are popping off. He's all about the trains. He wants the train. I always appreciate it, guys. Yeah, and I appreciate all the support through thick and through thin. You know, obviously, I'm all over the place a lot of times, but this is why it's important for me to, because I've been, you know, let's face it, I've been encountering people, they have questions. They're like, what are you doing with your channel? What can we expect here? And I just always want to make it clear that no matter what at the end of the day, and you can always rest assured of this, like, if this ever changes, I will retire my channel. I will make another channel, and I will let you know that that's what we're doing. Just rest assured that if there's ever any question like, MBG, what is your channel going to be? I'm going to play games and I'm going to cover games. We're going to cover the industry, but that will always be like a staple that you can always bank on no matter what. Can't promise that that means you want to tune into every single stream and watch every piece of content. Can't promise that. But I can promise that it'll always be about the playing of games. Without the games, what's the point? Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to do that, Petrov. I'm backing out of that. I'm backing out of that because I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. We also have a direct donation from, let me see, from Rich. And it looks like I think he's being normal. Thank you, Rich. He says, with a $2 chat, are you willing to stop PlayStation Studios games, though? Going PC only ends that. Just do Xbox. I see what you did there, Rich. I see what you did. He says, just do Xbox. That confirms you're becoming a fruit cup. Thanks. PlayStation plus PC is acceptable? Is it acceptable? Sheesh. Well, I mean, look, man, in case you guys haven't noticed, people have already determined that I folded. Okay? And I desperately want to get the attention off of myself. I blame myself. I do not blame anybody. I want that to be understood. I am not pointing the finger at anybody but myself. It's nobody's fault but mine. Okay? But I desperately want the attention to get off of me because I did make a mistake. The mistake I made was that when Sony made this announcement, I didn't quite realize as I was pursuing my goal, and I think it was the goal of many others and still is, it's still my goal. I want them to reverse this decision and do the right thing. I'm not excited about this. I'm very upset about this, actually. This is kind of devastating. I didn't realize in the process of doing that how much I was making it about me. And I guess when thinking about it, the reason for that is because I was trying to be encouraging to people of like, I believe that these are the only ways we might be able to get through to Sony. But in reality, it's like, dude, a lot of people on the outside looking in that don't care about this, all they're seeing is you making these declarations and drawing your own lines in the sand around you, thinking it's going to change anything. And I get that. That's why I'm saying it is nobody's fault. but mine. And I really took this stance of like, I'm leading some kind of charge here. And maybe those were the mistakes I made. Maybe I didn't have to do it that way. And so anybody who's making fun of me, anybody who's laughing at me, anybody who's maybe being unkind to me, although I don't appreciate that, but anybody who's doing this, I can't blame you. I really can't. Like it's all there. The receipts are there, and I'm not going to hide from them. I'm not going to pretend that they're not. But I cannot deny that I got in over my head with this idea that like, so are you going to quit games? No. Are you going to play on everything now all the time? I'm probably not going to do that. Because if I wanted to do that, I would have been doing that this whole time. Are you completely done with everything relating to PlayStation? Are you completely done with, running a PlayStation-centric YouTube channel? It's like, well, no. We're going to cover what goes on. It's like, well, then you got to keep your foot on Sony's throat. And to be fair, I was having this this is the energy I brought too. But I want to go back to something I said. And I don't know if people will agree with this or not, but it's an assessment that I've made pretty much from the beginning, and it's why I got so crazy. It's because the moment Sony announced this, I felt it, and I still kind of feel this way, but I realized that it's like, if that is the case, I'm not going to lie to you guys, watching Mystic's video had a major influence on me. I won't lie, okay? I'm just hesitant to talk too much about that because the difference between me and Mystic is Mystic didn't come out here, again, making some declarations and making himself look foolish like I did, okay? He did his thing. But his video had such an influence on me because I realized that like seeing his video confirmed something to me. I said throughout this whole endeavor that I feel as though a line has been drawn. And even though right now it does mostly pertain to PlayStation, this is a line that is drawn, I think, across the industry. Because if there's something we have to be honest about here and not bullshit ourselves about, is that it's not just PlayStation. PlayStation is the biggest bad guy right now, certainly. But it's not like there aren't other things, most things for that matter, going haywire in the industry. And, it's something that we've been talking about for pretty much the last 5 years, where it's just things are just continually going wrong and going in the wrong direction, becoming out of balance, becoming messed up. And it does seem like with Sony's decision here, it does seem like maybe this was the straw that really broke the back here, and drew the line. I feel as though after watching Mystic's video, because I was shocked. I'm like, dude, even Mystic felt like he had to come take a stance here? That's crazy. Not Mystic, man. Like, that guy should never have to take a stance like this, Like, he's the chillest guy ever. But even he felt like he had to do it because that's how bad the situation is. That's how crazy it's gotten. But he was saying how, like, he's still going to play the games. He's still going to game. And a lot of people take that as like, so you're just going to accept it. And like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that's basically ultimately what's being said here. But I don't know, man. I guess it just, it moved me in a sense where I'm like, I don't know. It just gave me some flashbacks to when I first started my channel. When I was talking about Xbox, when I was talking about moving from Xbox to PlayStation and why I was going to PlayStation. And it brought back it brought flashbacks of, I've always said it's about the games. And that's always been true. That's never not been true because it literally can't be, because that's what I founded my channel on. Sure, with an Xbox slant, sure, with a PlayStation slant. And that's why a lot of people are encouraging me right now. They're like, Yeah, he did say that. Mystic said he's going to spend less money, and that makes sense. How much did Sony pay me? More than you can imagine. I wish. No, it's not about that. It's not about saying, hey, everything Sony's doing is okay. It's not. It's not okay. It's not. It's not going to be okay. If Sony goes through with this, I meant what I said numerous times of like, it's over. Like, this is the end of something that, in my opinion, should not be taken away from us collectively. All right, hold on. I'm going on my rant here. Not my rant, but my monologue. Let me make sure I don't miss. Kazjam with a $5 chat says, we're not excited because we already hit a ceiling with the PS5. Games aren't going to be playing any differently than what we got with the PS2 to PS3. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong, Kazjam. I mean, it seems like the PlayStation 6 and Project Helix are going to be enthusiast devices, not mass market devices. And when you look at how the industry works, specifically when it comes to console gaming, what makes that model work, it is the mass market. Could it shift into something different? Could it shift into a very premium enthusiast model and survive that way? I mean, I suppose, yeah. If Xbox Helix somehow had a disk drive and full next-gen disk support, would you primarily play there? Yeah. Yeah. And that's not because I'm a flip-flopper. It's because it's like, that's what I want. You know, that's to me, that would be like Xbox. That would be the greatest gesture of goodwill I would have ever seen from them, where it's like, oh my God, you're actually doing this. You're going out of your way to do this to try to win physical buyers over. That would get my support. I would prop Microsoft up for that. That would be the biggest win they would have ever gotten in my eyes. Because it's like, that could have been you, Sony. That was you. And now it's not. But I don't think Microsoft's doing that. I'll be honest. Michael says hashtag go birds. Rich Rod with another Rich Rod hat. Or wait, hold on. We got Rich Rod 908, Rich Rod 809. I'm a little confused. All right, so Rich Rod 908 with a $2 chat says, I won't leave, but a rebrand, I do think you risk losing more of your base, that being like PlayStation, than gaining all gaming fans. It's a risk. They won't leave to join you. Well, here's the thing. A rebrand, the whole idea of a rebrand, it can't happen right now. It just simply, like, I'm not saying I'll never rebrand. I don't know. I've seriously been thinking about it, obviously, but I've come to the conclusion it cannot happen right now. The reason why it can't happen right now is because it sends the wrong message. People are, I realize, and that's my fault. If I rebrand right now, people are taking that as I'm saying, like, I'm taking this channel in a completely different direction. And I'm not. I'm not saying there won't be changes at all. Of course, there's always changes. But I realized that this is the hole I accidentally dug myself into. I didn't even realize it. It's like, I'm not. I realize this is why people are calling me a grifter. They're calling me a grifter because they think I was trying to win over like a new audience. And it's like, no. That's like the people that I've been encountering over the last 3 weeks that are coming in, agreeing with me or expressing their frustration alongside me. I just, and maybe this is me being naive, I assume, yeah, these are PlayStation guys. I mean, is everybody truly that? Maybe not. Maybe there are some disingenuous people that are just kind of jumping, they're dogpiling because why not? And I get that. But it's like, I realized that I was doing things differently. I get it. I'm not saying I wasn't doing things differently. I was doing things differently, and I was doing them differently because let me tell you something. This is what people need to understand. And I'm going to be as candid as I possibly can. I know for a lot of people, it doesn't matter what I say. And I'm not saying you have to listen. People think I did what I did for money. Please understand something. Okay? This is not a flex. And this is not an egotistical thing. It's the opposite. If anything, I've humbled myself the past couple of weeks. I was going to make money on my channel regardless of what I did. I think people need to the people who are calling me a grifter need to understand that. I've never not made money on my channel because I have support from people who are not here for any reason other than they want to support me. Not because I'm telling them what they want to hear, not because, I'm doing things a very specific way, but because they support me. And that's so important for me to emphasize because it's like, sure, was there like an influx of some super chats? Yeah. That happens numerous times throughout the year, numerous times throughout the months. That's normal. Sometimes I have random streams where I'm talking about nonsense and I get an influx of super chats. Trust me, if this was just about trying to make more money and grift, I would be doing things very, very, very differently on the channel. Okay? I just want to establish that because the only thing I want people to understand, this isn't in an effort to get you to like me. It's not that. Trust me. There's people who are never going to like me. There are people who despise me, and that's fine. I just want people to understand that I am somebody who legitimately loves physical video games. I always have, and I always will. And my frustration and my anger towards Sony's decision, it is as real and genuine as it could be, as it can be. And when I tell you that I sincerely believed people were making fun of me, trust me, man, people were making fun of me. They were, they were accusing me of things. I just was ignoring it because I'm like, dude, I don't care what you have to say. I think we can do this right now. I think we can knock Sony's door down and get them to change their mind. I believe we can do that. Here we are. That didn't happen. And if people want to say, well, like, does this mean it's over? I don't think it's completely over. No, I don't think it's ever going to be over. But it's like, guys, I don't think that the initial window that I had alluded to, the initial window of, it's open, it's wide open, let's take this opportunity. I think it is shut now. The window is shut. It will open again. But I just feel like, I don't know, I guess it's not that I feel completely misunderstood because I made declarations and people are going to weaponize that against me. That's fine. I totally understand that. This is why I was confused by some PlayStation players I was encountering during this time where it's like, why are you like, guys, you should jump on this. You should pile on now. This is the moment to do it because if enough people do it in a short period of time, this is the guerrilla warfare I was referring to. This can force Sony's hand. But I think that there was just too much, I don't know, a potent combination of Sony's extreme stubbornness and being entrenched combined with a constant dividing occurring each week that this goes on. Shut down the grifter talk then. Be straight up and tell us definitively whether you will try a new platform this year. Well, I'm going to try Amazon Luna. There's an Arnold game on there. Did you know that? There's an exclusive Arnold game. No joke. Look it up. I mean, what is that what me being a grifter is hinging on, though? Well, I want to make it clear, too, like, if people want to see me that way, that's fine. I'm just trying to explain myself so that way it's made clear. Like, think what you want of me. I have to just accept people are going to think what they're going to think. Again, I'm not trying to win anybody over in any case. I'm I'm going to have my supporters. I'm going to have my detractors. And that's the way it's always been. It always will be that way. I'm about to go through my... That's, Michael, that's not true. That's not true. All right, hold on. I'm starting to... I don't want to get too behind. That does happen. So RichRod809 says, MBG finna need 10 more memberships, fam. Okay, this is definitely not Rich Ride. Send my guy the guap. Oh, and I love Xbox now. Rich, who's doing this to you? And that was a $10 direct donation. Well, you heard it here, guys. Rich Rod is admitting that he loves Xbox now. He's saying somebody gives 10 memberships and he loves Xbox. What a crazy guy. What a crazy guy. I think I missed here we go. That Ride or Die Jedi guy with a $5 chat. He says, crazy thought. Sony's international implosion of the PlayStation brand for AI grounded asset company Retool? Let me know your thoughts. Factory repurpose as evidence. Ooh. I mean, I think it's in the realm of possibility. Sony has recently, they're not the only ones, but Sony has recently talked extensively to their investors about the role that AI is going to play in their company, not just PlayStation, but their entire company. Is that why they're repurposing the factory? Again, I think anything is possible. You're talking about the international implosion of the PlayStation brand. You're highlighting a question, Jedi guy, that I've also been asking myself, was like, why would Sony do this to themselves in this way? Like, it does feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot unnecessarily. And I did say before, like, unless there's something they know that we don't, and no, I'm not talking about digital to physical ratios and splits. I'm talking like they have some kind of bigger, broader, longer term plan that they're going to try to execute on that we're not privy to yet. Where once we see it unfold, I'm not saying we'll be okay with it, but once we start to see it unfold, it's like, oh, it all makes sense now. You can still hate it, right? But it's like, there it is. Is AI at the center of that? I think it's a coin flip at this point. I think there's a 50% chance the answer to that is yes. The 50% chance the answer is no. It's an interesting thought, though. Thank you, Jedi Guy. Appreciate that. And Kaz Jam, you're saying, I meant games won't play any different than the PS4 to PS5. It's not like going from the PS2 to PS3 plus the high cost. Yeah, okay, so just to make it clear, Kaz Jam, what you're highlighting is the diminishing returns. What made the jump from to be fair, Sony did hurt themselves with the PS3, but for the people who were excited for the PS3, what made it exciting at the time, and the argument can be made for the 360 as well, the PS3 and the 360. What made it so exciting for people to leave the PS2 or the original Xbox to go to those is because the difference was, undeniable. It was so significant that it's like, this is a night and day difference. This is a night and day difference. We already saw with the PS4 and PS5 that, there is a difference, and maybe you can see it, but it's becoming a lot harder to notice it. Look at what happened when Sony showed off the PS5 Pro. People were laughing at, like, look at us zooming in with The Last of Us Part 2, and people are like, well, what are you talking about? I imagine Sony's going to cook something up for the PS6 to get people excited about, check this out, but I don't know. It's going to be a really, really tough sell. Yeah, it's the law of diminishing returns kicking in for the consoles, and I think people see that already. I think people already know that. People are anticipating that. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to... Where am I at? Let me make sure I heart these. so I can keep track. Yeah, appreciate the support, guys. Do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button. Hitting the like button lets me know, you guys are enjoying the stream. Always appreciate that. Sean Mitchell, a member for 39 months, he says this will 100% go through for Sony. Cracks are beginning to show already. It feels like folks just made noise for a few days. We can't keep the pressure. Well, see, Sean, this is why, and I know people were very quickly getting upset with me. And, it's the whole unfolding thing, but putting myself aside, the problem that I think you're highlighting, that you're touching on here, Sean, and this is kind of what I feared, to be honest. This is what I feared because it's like maybe it is too late. When we talk about the pressure letting off, as time goes by, more and more people, and it is an undeniable fact, it just is, more and more people are going to just accept it. Okay? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see people stop harassing Sony. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you see a PlayStation post or when you see a video dropped on the PlayStation YouTube channel, it doesn't mean you're going to stop seeing people being loud and vocal in that sense. You will still see that. But the fact of the matter is people are dropping off like flies. There's also a very uncomfortable truth here that, I'm clearly a part of to an extent. Ultimately, I probably will be a part of it. And, you could make an argument that the people who see this from the start are the wiser ones, where it's like first time. And is that, yes, the talk is cheap. The typing is cheap. This is what this is why people were getting so mad at Matt Piscatella yesterday, which, again, my problem wasn't with Matt Piscatella. I think people misunderstood. I don't have a problem with him. I just, I frankly, I would just love to see actual just raw numbers. I feel like we never get to see that. And it feels kind of unfair. Like we're being told these things, but like we never get to actually see the numbers, at least not clearly on display. I digress here. The point is, people can just say things on the internet. And I'm not talking about people like me who have a YouTube channel. I'm talking on a more massive scale. Like literally anybody can say, I hate you, Sony. I hate PlayStation. I'm typing it on Twitter. I'm not buying your games. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Anybody can say that. And I'm not saying this is exactly how it's going to go down for PlayStation, but it's just that we see this everywhere in every industry, and I don't know what the solution is. Like I don't know. I don't know. I wish is it complete anarchy? I don't know. But yes, the masses, the larger group of consumers that, if you want to label them as sheep, pay pigs, whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that are being served. They're the focus of all these companies and all these corporations. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of them. And it just is. It's like, yes, people want the convenience. What I'm trying to say here is that if you ask an average gamer, keyword being average gamer, are you okay giving up nearly all of your consumer rights for more convenient gaming experience? They will say yes. And the moment you try to say, but don't you, they'll be like, I don't care. This isn't that serious to me. And that's the hard truth. That's the truth that I don't want to accept. That's the truth that I think a lot of people don't want to accept. And this is why I said, like, there's something drawn, there's a line drawn on the sand where you're either in or you're out. And when people are out, it's not that they quit gaming entirely, but it's like, now you're emulating, now you're retro gaming, now you're pirating. And you can understand why people do that when you see things like this happen. But it is the way that all industries seemingly have gone in. It is the direction they've all gone in. This is why I'm saying I don't know what the wider solution is. I just watched a video on Amazon yesterday and how Amazon is literally doing something illegal that antitrust was put in place to prevent, to make sure this never happens. I forget the name. It's price fixing. And it just happens. Literally, nobody, government, nobody's doing anything. It's just, this is why I'm saying, like, if you're going to fight, and I just have to be as brutally honest as I can here, and this is genuine advice. If you're going to fight, understand that if you're picking a battle with a corporate entity, you're picking a battle with all of them. It may seem like it's a pick and choose type situation. It's not. If you're somebody who's screaming, or, and I say this because I could be this person sometimes too, or raging, where it's like, this video game company is doing the worst thing in the world and is hurting us and the thing we love. Please understand that if you're buying things from Amazon, you have to scream at Amazon. If you're buying, if you ever eat out at fast food chains, if you're basically engaged with any corporation, I don't want to say any, because that's not fair. There are some companies still trying to do some things right, but the bigger companies that, that everybody flocks to, if you're engaged with any of them, it's like you are contributing. You can pick and choose your battles all you want, but it's like, this is why I know it sounds defeatist and people hate the defeatist attitude, but it's like, I don't know that it's so much defeatist as much as it's just, I think we are not seeing the bigger picture here, potentially. Granted, I think Sony, they brought all this attention on themselves. A lot of these things that these companies do, they try to do secretly. They try to, like, not make it obvious. And people start digging and you're like, what the hell's going on here? Hey, John, you picked me up because you stood up for what you believe in. As long as you hold true to yourself and your principles, I will happily pay the mortgage, bro. You're a good friend, and all of us. Well, I appreciate that, Jedi guy. Thank you for paying my mortgage. But that's the reality. Like, we're all at the mercy of it. And I do care. I do. It's just that I don't know what to tell people, man. I think I got so crazy is because there's a lot of pent up frustration in me as an individual. And I think everybody feels it. I mean that. I know it sounds a little bit cringe, but, like, think about it. Things have changed, man. Like, your life is changing. My life is changing. And these changes are occurring. And you start to wake up and realize, like, you don't have a say in it. You just have to deal with it. And I won't lie. When I saw this thing with PlayStation, I got so crazy because it's like, you know what? I've watched all these other things in my life change. I've watched all these other things just can't do jack all about it, right? But now my physical discs, like, that's the thing, is it's not just the plastic. I get it. Like, people are like, why do you care so much about a little plastic disc? It's not just about that, man. It's what it represents in my life personally. And I think for a lot of people, which is like, now this, like, we can't have this now. Everything else gets stripped. Everything else gets worse. Everything, you got to pay more. And I'm not just talking about the games industry. I'm talking about every area of life. For me, seeing this happen and happen so egregiously, it sets something off in me, dude, where I'm like, I can't take this anymore. But, time has went by. The dust has settled. The dust is settling. And pushing polygons is like, I just question deeply And this is the harder, more uncomfortable thing to do. And it's not going to be the only thing I do. But I do sit back and I question, like, why are things like this now? Like, why are things the way they are now? And it's very uncomfortable to ask that question, because the answer you're going to get is even more uncomfortable. Because the answer is, this is what people asked for. And you, now when I say you, I'm pointing at me. I'm not pointing at any of you. You guys can decide for yourself. It's like, and I'm just being an honest human being right now. You probably helped contribute to it. Whether you knew or not is irrelevant to the outcome. And again, this isn't me telling you guys anything you probably don't already know. I guess if anything, it just offers a little bit of an explanation as to, like, you know, this is why. Like, for the people, and I've encountered these people, for the people who've decided that they're done, they're out, I do wonder how many are going to stick to that. Because it's not an easy thing to do. Because what you're going to watch happen is everything moves forward without you, and you've decided, I'm staying here. I'm staying here. I'm not moving forward with it. And we are. I apologize. Yeah, I obviously I got off onto this tangent again. We are going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 4. We still have game talk coming. So I'll wrap this up. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. Again, I know people don't want to hear defeatist talk. They don't like the defeatist attitude. But all I can say is, I'm not giving up. I guess I'm just looking at the battlefield differently. You know, there's going to be times where the opening is there. Go for the critical attack. Like I said, and if if you try and it doesn't work, guess what? Nothing new there. But sometimes, on occasion, that's true. Pushing Polygon says, MBG, look, man, we all die and it moves forward without us. You're right. We all get left behind eventually. Time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. All right. Let me... Oh, hold on. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. I keep trying to stand for my streams. But I don't like just sitting back. But my arm is in so much pain, dude. I'm pushing it too much here. What happens? This is what happens when I'm trying to do physical therapy. So it's like what Marlon said, got him. What is that referencing? What are you referring to there? I don't understand that reference. Well, Rich is saying, to the people who are hating on Sony, what exactly do you want MBG to do? Go to another all-digital platform, go to Nintendo where Zelda's still $60, go to GOG and wait years to play games, quit gaming? Well, dude, this is what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make... So ultimately, you're telling Sony that you're okay with all digital. So here's my question. Is there anything you won't accept from Sony? Well, listen, I'm not okay with all digital. I'm not okay with all digital. It just means you actually folded, MEG. Listen, I folded. No. Well, I mean, I guess so. They got me. They all got me. They were all right about everything they said about me. They're right. Okay? I'm not here to fight anybody, and I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. But I do genuinely feel like it's not so much about telling Sony this is okay. It's about, I guess, having the greater realization that it's going to be okay whether I say it is or not. Do you understand that? That's what I'm trying to say. So I could go somewhere else, and maybe, who knows, maybe at some point I will. But it is true what people say. Like, you can go anywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that much better. But I mean, that's why I continue to tell you guys, like, the ending of the PS5 gen is bittersweet. It's bittersweet because, dude, for those who want to collect physical, you have a year and a half. You have a year and a half. After that, like, guys, if you want me to tell you where I'm going to be a year and a half from now, I don't know. I mean that. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Like, maybe when the PS5 gen is done, that will be where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on going backwards now. Maybe I will be able to. I mean, let's face it. I said earlier that I'll never stop playing games, and that's true. It's almost impossible for me to imagine myself not playing new games. But I don't know. I'll tell you what, if I plan to gain a new audience, to grow the audience we have, it's not going to be through, and I do have to be honest with you guys about this. It's not going to be through trying to fight the inevitable. But that doesn't mean I have to quit gaming. I guess you could just say, what does the future of gaming look like to me personally? We'll find out. I'll find out. All right, hold on. I still have a couple things that I have to read, though. Can't even find anything on PSN right now. I'm not even boycotting. Sheesh. I mean, that's one way. That's a whole other problem. All right. Well, Rich, I also want you to understand, dude, like, there's a lot of people, not here, but outside of here, they don't care about stuff like that, man. And Frank Cosmo comes in and drops another 10 member gifts for you guys. Somebody named the real Al Bundy received a member gift.
All aboard!
I'm sorry, what? Somebody named the real Al Bundy with a profile picture of Al Bundy received a member gift. You can't make this up. Incredible. Frank, thank you so much for 10 members gifted, taking us up to 25. Really, really appreciate that, man. If you guys want to go take it further, that's on you. We hit 25. I'm going to feed the beast. I'm just giving it a moment here. My neck is locked up. My neck is really locked up. Love and Marriage. Yeah, dude. We're still watching Married with Children right now. I think we're on season 10. They have a... Does the Dodge start? Only with the screwdriver. I love it. It's a great show. It's a great show. All right, hold on. I'll come back. I'm going to feed the beast. And I have a couple more things here. Hold on. Papa, come here. Come on. I'll give you a couple, all right? I'm going to have to help him out. God, he's a heavy cat, man. As you can see. All right, let me catch up here. If I haven't read your chat yet, I'm going to chat now, or read those chats now. I'm going to chat now. Henry 3K, a member for 39 months. Oh, Jesus. He says, thank you for that, Henry. He says, how is the family, MBG? Hope all is good. Will you start embracing PC gaming more with physical dying? Will you be collecting Switch 2 cartridges now? Well, family's doing mostly okay. Pretty good, I'd say. Just, heat, constant rainstorms, always wondering when something's going to get destroyed. Outside of that, I'd say it's been going pretty well. Am I going to start doing PC gaming more now that physical's dying? That's something that, here's the thing. I don't want to say yes or no, because where I am right now with that, and I don't know how this will change. I really thought about just doing it now and just I'm just going to go to PC now. But I don't know. I've just been thinking about the idea that what would I rather do? Truly. Would I rather continue to buy physical games for as long as I can until I no longer can? And by that point, there's no other option. Now digital is the only option and I can figure it out then. Or would I rather just go all digital right now? And I can't deny that it's very, 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 very difficult for me to say I'm knowing there's still physical games coming that I'm not going to buy them. There's a weird hypocrisy, although I don't even know it's not even the hypocrisy. I'm hypocritical all the time, apparently. It just is what do you want? I want physical games. Then why are you not buying physical games? And I get it. It's well, if it's going to end in a year and a half from now, I may as well just end it now. But you could take that approach with anything. So the way I'll answer that question is for as long as I can, I'm going to buy physical games. All right. When the time comes where I can, it's that's over. It is happening. It's now digital only. I think that's when I'll make the decision on where I'm going to play. I think if I'm going to make the leap, I should say, if I'm going to dive in and embrace playing somewhere else in a digital storefront, well, not necessarily. You're saying that gives Sony a tactical win. I mean, maybe. I get that. But if Sony's ultimate goal is we want to get you into next gen, I don't know. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. We got to get away from this conversation. I'm going to die in 50 years. Might as well end it now. Whoa, don't do that. We got to get away from this conversation. All right. I'm just saying that because, again, I fucked up. Okay? I messed up by creating this unnecessary buzz around me. I didn't mean to do that. It's my fault. I am a grown-ass man. Okay? Do I have to break out the clown wig? I'm not, it's not helping anything, in my opinion. If anything, I fear that I've actually made things worse. I legitimately have that fear. We went from boycott Sony, don't give them money, don't buy games, to we gonna buy games physically, and then I will see if I get digital. Well, but let me ask you. Nick, I have to ask you this question in all seriousness. If I go to Steam right now, how am I buying my games? I don't know about a clown wig, but a clown nose is always welcome. Oh my god. Fuck. You guys are making my neck tighten up. I'm just kidding. It's not your fault. I mean, hold on. I'm going to read the rest of these chats, but this guy says, respectfully, bro, no one gives an F. Guys, is this true? Because I'm starting to think maybe I'm in my own head at this point. Maybe I got lost in the sauce here. It's like, dude, nobody cares what you do. Nobody cares. Maybe that's true. That would be great if that was true. But Switch 2. I mean, yeah, Switch 2 has physical games, the cartridges. All right, hold on. I need to catch up. I'm sorry if I've been keeping you guys waiting. Domingo says, "Are you decoupling from PlayStation?" I'm not decoupling from PlayStation. No, not yet. If I decouple from PlayStation, unfortunately, I'm going to have to reevaluate again, people are bringing things up to me where it makes me realize that, yeah, I'm not going to get a PlayStation to play Astro Bot 2. There's just things that it's like, dude, there's a reason why people are like, you're just going to buy this shit eventually anyway. I don't know, man. I guess this is why I took such an extreme stance, where it's like I'm either in or I'm out, because it's like, I don't know. I'm in a bit of denial here, I suppose. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. I like I said, I'm here. I'm admitting to you guys that I made the mistake of trying to act like a spearhead. I'm spearheading the problem. I don't necessarily regret it, because I know why I did it, because I genuinely thought, we can make a change here. If you feel like I'm an idiot grifter or I've misled you because I'm over here being like, guys, I don't think there's anything we can do, I apologize. That was not my intent. But I'm just asking, where do we go from here? Tell us what the mistake is. The mistake, in my opinion, wasn't me, and it's not me expressing the fact that I hate this. The mistake is me basically making it seem like I'm going all in because we're all going all in, because when we all go all in, it's gonna make Sony fold. They're gonna fold, not us. But in reality, it's like Sony doesn't even fucking know you exist, dude. I don't know. It's a tough thing. What's in the box? Yeah, they'll all have a field day with this, though. Just play games and enjoy games is my advice. Well, that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying I just, that's probably the direction I'm going to go in. People have suggested, they're like, hey, talk about the games. Now, granted, I've gotten distracted once again. That's not your fault. The Spick Spaniard saying, why would you need to rebrand? Your channel is MBG, not PSG. I guess just renaming the pod. Also, stop buying games. Instead, rent physical from Gamefly. Dude, somebody mentioned Gamefly yesterday. Was it you? I don't think it was you, Spick Span. Somebody mentioned Gamefly yesterday. I'm like, I got to go check Gamefly out. Like, I totally forgot that they even existed. Well, that's the thing. I've been considering a rebrand for a long time. And just to be clear, the initial rebrand I was thinking of didn't have anything to do with necessarily changing anything on the channel. I was just seriously thinking, like, I want to make my channel name like my name, you know? But the reason why I kept backing down from it was because I'm like, I don't know, man. I am MBG, you know, like this is what my channel's been named this entire time. It's how everybody knows me. There is a fear of, like, if I were to change my channel name and change it over, that, like, you know, it's going to cause a certain level of chaos on my channel that I didn't anticipate. So I ultimately just figured I'll just keep it as is. Why mess with it too much? You know what I mean? The rebrand really popped in my mind again because I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I do want to completely decouple from PlayStation or something like that. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. And I don't expect everybody to understand this, but I think if you take a moment to think about it, you probably can. I want you to imagine you have a YouTube channel right now. I want you to imagine that you have 100,000 subscribers on that YouTube channel. I want you to imagine that you've gained 100,000 subscribers on that YouTube channel by covering certain things and you know, doing certain things a certain way. Now, I want you to imagine you also are making a living doing that, right? And it's not bad. It's you know, you're living the dream, so to speak. And then just imagine one day you turn to everybody and you're like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And then suddenly you start encountering people and they're like, dude, I liked your channel. I liked what you did. Like, I liked it here. What, do you have to burn it all? Do you have to go this crazy? I guess I'm just trying to say that, like, I don't feel completely comfortable with the idea of, like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I know we just spent the last 6 years covering PlayStation and I've gained over 100,000 subscribers covering this thing, but I'm just going to walk away from it now. And I'm not even sure where it is I want to go. I feel like there's a lot of factors is all I'm trying to tell you. And I'm getting clowned on left and right. I'm getting jumped basically, and it's fine. You know, I don't expect people to understand and I don't expect them to care, but all I can say is that I care about my channel, man. I care about what I built here, and I have I have a level of respect for it that I realize it's like, dude, it's fine if you want to go in another direction. And to be clear, yeah, I think most people, like, to be clear, I do believe most people would support whatever I do. But I just feel bad, man, that it's like, not everybody feels exactly the way I do. And there are people, you know, where it's like, yeah, I don't know that I can completely blame them. They look at the last 2 weeks and you're like, dude, you're turning your channel into something completely different. Which, yeah, I'm allowed to do that, but I'm like, all right, I'll move on. I'm sorry. It's turning into a goddamn therapy session. I apologize. All right, we have, let me get through these and then we'll talk about Metal Gear. Damn it, I did it again. I did the thing again. I have a few more chats, and then we'll talk about Metal Gear. The Sparky Nuts, a member for 28 months, says, MBG, every time you say, I don't know, I could try another platform and don't do anything. So you take no action after 3 weeks of words. I mean, sure, Sparky Nuts. Like, well, no, pushing polygons, it would not negatively affect my channel. I mean, it could, and it depends. It depends. Like, the problem that I'm running into that I've noticed is that the expectation is I'm going to perpetually hate PlayStation now. I'm not saying you think that, polygons, or that everybody here thinks that. Go look at my video today. People, and I don't, I'm not, this is why I'm saying, like, I'm not blaming anybody. If you came to my channel based off of the content I made the past 2 weeks, why would you think otherwise? I've said things myself. I've said things out of anger, out of frustration, and I get it. And so, it's like I said, trust me, if this was about grifting, I'm making possibly the worst decision I could make right now. I really wonder if people understand that. I don't think people understand that, but it's, you know what they say, you got to be true to yourself. People can think what they want. I was true to myself this entire time. Do I say things that make me look dumb? Sure. But you know what? It's like, MBG, you know what you are? You're dumb. Or you're foolish. Or you're flippant. Sure. Perhaps that is what I really am. Perhaps that is me being true to myself. But, I can't put on some kind of mask here. I want physical games. I want Sony to reverse their decision. But here we are. Unbroken Wolf, a member for 7 months, says, MBG, did you watch the Warp Zones skit on the Sony announcement of no more discs? Also, are you getting a Halo 1 remake? No, I'm not going to be getting Halo campaign involved. And no, I'm not sure what skit you're talking about. I never heard of that, the Warp Zones. Maybe I'll check that out. Mega iPod Music, a member for 9 months, says, after everything Sony has done, how can you go back to supporting them like nothing happened if they change their mind? No, I'm not going back to supporting them as if nothing happened. Like, dude, I did say that, to me, this is a permanent stain that's never going to go away for PlayStation. But I'm not saying that stain is going to change anything. To be clear, one of the biggest reasons I got so fucking pissed is because it's like, dude, I really do feel like Sony, they took the stance of, like, when they say, where are you going to go? They're saying that knowing, like, everywhere you go, it's going to be digital now, unless you're okay making the switch to your main gaming platform. Assuming you're not doing that, which some people do that, but I think most people don't. It's like your only option at that point is, like, anywhere else you go, you're going digital. And I hate that. I hate that because it's like, I mean, look, man, if I do end up staying on PlayStation, this isn't a matter of just accept everything and everything's fine. It's just, listen, if this is the future we're going into, and I'm being dragged into it, as is everybody else. If that's it's like there's nothing left to be done here, then okay, we're in the digital future. At that point, it's like I told you guys, and I did mean this, and this is something that I did wake up to. It's not something I was paying all that much attention to because I was buying my games physically, but it's like, yes, the battle now has to be taken to Sony. You need to fucking, something has to be done to give PlayStation players better consumer rights and protection. Like, maybe the people who are out here first and foremost saying, not forget physical discs and physical, but it's like, this battle's probably not going to be won. That's the battle that we need to try to win. Maybe they're the ones that are going to be right, ultimately, because it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're on Steam, whether you're on PlayStation, whether you're on Xbox. If they're all digital, But the same thing across all three of them is you don't own your games. It's a license that can be revoked at any time. That's the big problem for all consumers. Doesn't mean that Steam won't have certain benefits that PlayStation doesn't have in terms of better customer service. And that's what I'm saying. Sony should do that. Sony should fucking do that. It's like, if this is where we're going, and not just Sony, Xbox has to do it. Steam should do it too. I don't know, man. I'm just stuck in this place of like, I don't want this part of gaming to go away from me. I feel like right now, yeah, are people chiming in and hopping on board that don't care? Yes. But I'm not lying about that. I've never lied about that. There's nothing, I've never lied about any of this. It's like, dude, I want physical games to stick around. I've always felt like that's been a integral part. And when somebody asked, I meant to say something earlier when somebody asked me this, because somebody brought this up, not today, but on another stream. They were like, so like, was it just the physical games that was the only thing that was keeping you on board with PlayStation? I've told you guys there's three things. There are three things that have kept me tethered to PlayStation. The console experience. I like consoles. It's another reason why I'm hesitant to go to PC. I know I can hook my PC up to my TV, put it in big picture mode, hook up a controller. I know that. But I just can't deny that I've always liked the console experience. The games. The games are everything. Without the games, the console's meaningless. The games are everything. They've always been everything. But the third thing, and I'm talking about like first party games and stuff. The third thing was physical games. So when I tell you that there were three core things that kept me tethered to PlayStation, and one of those things is being fucking killed, I think people can begin to understand like why this reaction would happen. Why it's like, yeah, I'm losing my shit because that's like literally one of the main reasons, and now it's being eliminated. But if somebody were to say to me, well, what about the two other things? Console and the games. Are those gone too? No. But that's where it's like, I don't know how much I trust Sony anymore, man. It's not just literally the removal of the games. It's like a layer of like, I don't know, man. People have been telling me you're kind of the villain, Sony. And, I didn't want to fully believe you're like full villain mode. With something like this, it's like, it feels kind of undeniable. Hold on. It's not what we say, it's what we do. Ain't that the truth, Titus? Ain't that the truth, man? Cantarella, you're saying, how many games have you bought and beaten this gen? Geez, I don't know. It's got to be well over 100. Probably more than 120, more than 130. Maybe more than that. Probably more than that. Probably more than 150. I mean, I'm just throwing a number out here. I don't play a bunch of like smaller indie games. So if I played stuff like that, maybe the number would be higher. I'd have to count. I'd have to see how many exactly. My problem too, though, is when I play games, I always try to platinum them. So when I look down my list, there's like these games that I wanted to platinum. It's like, damn it. All right. Titus, you're saying there is no counsel and despair, and this is that. Titus. All right, sorry. Top Shelf Gaming, you're saying Marlon made a song about guys fake outraging. He made a song? Who's... I feel like I know who you're talking about, but people make songs all the time about shit out here. It's pretty funny. I mean, it's the way it's always been. Tyler, you're saying, I'm scared Rich Rod is going to ban us non-PlayStation fanboys. No, Rich is not going to ban. Rich, he has a way of speaking that can come off as concerning. But no, he's not going to do that. I wouldn't let him do that. Unholy Mayhem, a member for 24 months, says, already started getting more games on Switch 2 and Steam. F PlayStation. I'll buy physical until it's done, but no PS6 for me. Who could blame you? Something tells me, Unholy Mayhem, we're going to try. We're all going to try. When the PS6 comes rearing its ugly head, we're all going to try to have Sony reconsider. Top Shelf with a $5 chat says, play all platforms. Your audience will grow. It's just ponies here right now. Other streamers can't farm you for crazy outtakes. If you're a neutral gamer, well, I appreciate the advice, Top Shelf, and it's not bad advice. I do think there will be a natural occurrence of me expanding. Okay. I think that it is going to happen. Like, for example, one of the things that it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. One of the things that is going to happen is, a Switch 2 will be part of my arsenal. I don't know how much I'll play it, to be completely honest, but it will happen. I have a gaming PC. I don't know what it's going to take, but eventually, something, eventually, like we're closer than ever before. Something's going to make me go to Steam and dabble and dip my toe in the water and see what happens. I just can't sit here and take the stance. And again, I know I'm going to get ripped to shreds. I'm already getting ripped to shreds. It is what it is, man. I can't do anything about it. What's done is done. But I can't sit here and say that when those things occur, that means I'm never touching PlayStation. That's not going to happen. It's just not. And this is where it's like, maybe the biggest mistake of all that I made was getting too far away from what mattered, and that is the games, man. The reality of the situation is people view me as one of the biggest contributors to the problem. I mean, I think it's slightly unfair. It's not like I haven't done my part. I've bought almost all of my games physically. I've done nothing but support physical games. But, people look at me and they're like, dude, you've supported Sony this gen with the PS5. You've supported all the things they've done. And if anything, like, you're part of the reason why, like, you're part of the blame. And, this is just where it's like, I guess maybe that's true. So it's like, who am I to sit here and suddenly think that I'm going to be holier than thou and I'm going to have some grand standing? And I get it, man. I get it. This is why people were calling me out, because they're like, dude, come on. Like, you're not that guy. And I guess it just feels bad because it's like, well, I don't know. For a little bit there, I really was. Because I thought, we're gonna win this battle, guys. We're not losing this one. But maybe it isn't that serious at the end of the day, guys. Maybe this is all my problem. Titus with a 15-pound super chat. He says, I don't get why people say you have to decide now. Just play and buy discs on PlayStation until they're gone. Hopefully never. Agreed. And decide afterwards where to go. A lot can happen until 2028. It's like Sony just goes out of business. There is no more PlayStation. Rejoice. I play almost only on PlayStation since the PS1, but also on Switch 1 and 2. even an Xbox Series S, which I got for cheap a couple of years ago for Hellblade 2 when it was announced as an exclusive. Damn. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I've gotten pretty neurotic over the years. I mean, I've been neurotic. I mean, you guys can trace streams of me having deep, in-depth conversations with you about my struggles with trying to get platinum trophies for certain games, feeling like I'm losing my mind trying to do that. And you know, I think that there's layers to this that what I didn't quite realize is how neurotic I have become in all of this. And that like it probably would do me some good, genuinely speaking, to go out there and, you know, again, expand the horizons a little bit. I don't think it would hurt me. Like, obviously, it wouldn't hurt me, but I just mean it wouldn't hurt anything I'm doing here. I think that this is a problem I have. And again, I probably shouldn't be this open about it because people are just going to weaponize it against me. But I am just being honest in that. Like, I tend to veer in an all or nothing type mentality. And it's just because I'm a loyal person like that. You know, I guess this is why it's like, it's why I tell people, like, dude, would a grifter be sitting here for 6 years straight, making PlayStation news videos, only playing on PlayStation? Really? Like, I don't think so. I don't think that's what a grifter would do. I guess I just take a little bit of umbrage with that term, you know, because it's like there's a lot of grifters out there, genuinely. And I'm talking about in the gaming space. I just mean if you look at the internet in the year 2026, grifters are fucking everywhere. And I guess maybe that's why it's easy to assume that's what somebody's doing. That's not what I'm doing. And if I was doing it, I wouldn't be doing it in gaming. But you're right, Titus. It really can just be that simple. I just tend to overcomplicate things. I don't know. I am still ultimately frustrated here. I know people want me to just get over it, and maybe in time I will. I don't know. But it's like, I didn't want it to be this way. Like, I try not to think about, like, dude, they're going to, like, you're just not going to be able to buy physical games anymore. That, you know, it hurts the enthusiasm a lot, man. It kills the morale a lot because it's like, buying physical games is awesome. It just is. Not saying you're wrong for not buying physically. It's an awesome experience. It's something that has always, you know, it's always been a staple of my gaming experience, no matter where I was. And I mean, I know it's seemingly going to end with PlayStation. I guess perhaps maybe Nintendo at the rate things are going. I just wish it didn't have to be this way. I know I'm sounding melodramatic right now, maybe a little too depressed for my own good, but I know that's how a lot of people are feeling right now. It's just like, why is it like, come on, man. It's a special part of gaming. Be better, Sony. Benino, a member for 15 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, respectfully, I'm disappointed in how you're handling this. All you've got to do is embrace everything. It blows my mind how many good games you skip. And that's fair. That's fair, Benino. I appreciate the feedback. I do. And I mean that because, like, trust me, they're like, I can handle that type of feedback where you're just being real and you're just being honest and you're being mature about it, where I don't feel great that people feel disappointed in me, you know? And I'm a strange person, I think, to a lot of people. My behaviors, you know, the way I go about things. And I guess I'm somewhat accepting of that. But I'm at a point, dude, trust me, like, I've gotten such insanely negative feedback from people. I don't even think you can call it feedback, that it's like, I've gotten to a point where I genuinely appreciate people who are giving me respectful but blunt feedback. I can't promise that I'm going to turn around and make you a happy viewer. I hope I will, you know, but you know, you encounter enough volatile, I guess, acidic, venomous feedback from people, you know? And I get that. All you guys are really advocating for is MBG, we just want you to enjoy more games. I think you're a stranger to yourself sometimes. Perhaps. That's true, Titus. You know, and not to delve too deep into my own psyche here, but it really is just like, I've definitely changed in some ways that, you know, is unexpected. But I think that's just a normal part of a normal part of the process of getting older. You learn certain things about yourself that you didn't even know existed, for better or worse. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Again, I think that's normal. The problem I got to be honest with you guys too, like the problem I'm having is I struggle with the notion that I do believe there's an expectation placed on me, you know? And I think a lot of times I give into that feeling, whether it's true or not. That feeling ends up getting so wrapped around my head that it's like I just start to do things, and it's like I don't even really know. It's not that I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like you're not thinking things through. And you're like, I start to drift into areas of like, bro, slow down. Like, you don't have to be a different person. And it's like, no, I'm not being a different person. It's like, if you say so, I know, I don't know. At some point, I'm going to have to get evaluated for bipolar disorder. That's where this is headed. Okay? So, if I go get evaluated for bipolar disorder and it turns out I have it, y'all are going to look a certain way. Turns out he's just mentally ill. I'm kidding. No, it's mental illness, mental struggles. They come in all different shapes and forms, you know. The issue is you've been all talk. You haven't taken a single notable action. You want to expand, then do it. Literally right now if you want. You only ever want to talk about taking a stand. That's fair. No, you're right, Sparky. You're right. I you know what I feel like right now? I feel like Al Bundy in that episode of Married with Children, when he was on the motorcycle and he was fantasizing about riding the open road and like living that life. And he was like ready to do it. And he's like, all right, I'm doing it. And he rips his sleeves off. And he's in his garage. The garage door's open, and he's like, "Let's go." And the moment he goes to ride, his daughter Kelly comes driving up with his Dodge and just crashes right into him, and he's just flattened on the windshield. And it's like, what are we doing here, man? Maybe not the best analogy, but that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in any show. Cheese, you're saying, I think most call you a grifter because you acted like you would leave Sony and had the campaign against them, but they knew you would always go back to PlayStation. So, like, you grifted the outrage. Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, yeah, it's undeniable that it would come off that way. It's undeniable. Whether people want to believe me or not is up to them, but that, trust me, like, I'm gonna make myself sound really fucking stupid right now. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I'll do it anyway. I'm doing this in good faith that people will. I'm not gonna make myself sound great because it's like, don't talk about yourself like that, MEG. But it's like, don't you think if the intention was to grift the outrage, it would have been done a little bit more? Like, it would have been done in a more intelligent, thought out way. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, people, what I'm trying to say is people are giving me too much credit. Like, I kind of appreciate it where it's like, man, these guys think I'm good. Like, they think I'm good or something. I don't know. Like, they think there's some kind of method to the madness here. And I appreciate that. It's like, I assure you there's not. It would be, I wouldn't be in this situation. I wouldn't be in this current predicament if I was that good. Okay, if I was like I'm a deceiver and a con man and I got a grand plan here. I wish. Believe me. Well, I don't want to be that. I'm just saying, like, people give me that sounds like something a grifter would say. Oh man. Yep. No, but it's like when people look at me and they're like, is this guy kind of retarded? You be the judge. I'm somewhere on the spectrum. For real, though. I'm not even kidding. We have a... I think I missed a couple of direct donations from Rich. He says, if you change your name to Butterscotch, I'll change my name to Fruit Nugget. You know, I'm going to say, Rich, both of those things are wildly unnecessary. That wasn't Rich. I just realized that's Rich Rod 809. That's fake Rich. Stop, MBG. I fear the clip economy now. Well, I mean, what are people? Listen, the people who are doing that stuff, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make their own way. If they got to make me a part of that, then so be it. I'm used to it. But you're Michael says, but you're my retard. Thank you, Michael. Yes. Michael's, see, that's a real one. That's a real one. He's like, pat me on the head like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. We know. We know. Oh, man. Rich Rod, change your name to Fruit Nugget anyway. Oh, dude, that's funny. You guys are funny. You guys know how to cheer me up. Rich Rod, you're saying just add PC and maybe Nintendo to your platform. Cold turkey ditching PlayStation is literally the opposite message of what you're fighting for. Expand, but don't switch. Yeah, and that's why I don't want to go through with the rebrand. Like, listen, another thing that, like, I just have to be honest about with people is it's like, well, if you're going to expand, because I think that this is true for everybody to an extent. It's like everybody who decides to play in different places, you always have the place that you play the most. Like, where do you play the most? I've been trying to rationalize that, and I'm like, be honest with yourself, MBG. If you decide you're gonna expand, is PlayStation no longer going to be the place you play the most? And it's like, I know myself. I think I know do I know myself? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I think anymore. The idea, I suppose, is like, I guess I could just see myself, like, in all seriousness, I could see myself relaxing on things where I'll tell myself, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna play on some PC now. I'm gonna do some Switch. Hell, maybe even buy an Xbox at some point. Right? I'm gonna play everywhere. But I'm definitely not spending most of my time on PlayStation. Time goes by. I'm still dabbling in PlayStation. And eventually it's just gonna be like, oh, you know, maybe I will play a little bit more on PlayStation. I kind of miss getting the trophies and stuff. And then bam, before you know, it's like, I'm right back to where I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it's just like, maybe I do know myself. I'm in denial. I'm in denial. MBG, you're not strange in a general sense. Thank you. I think you're strange in terms of how you express yourself on the internet. Thank you. A landscape where algorithm favors hyper fervor, pragmatism. Pragmatism. God, I can't. Yes. Performativeness and callousness. Yes. Perhaps. Perhaps you are right. I mean, is it possible that I've just let all of this get to my head to an unhealthy degree? Is it possible MBG's mentally ill? Guys, what do you think? Do you think I'm mentally ill? Like, do you think I need to go get evaluated? Is this what's going to have to happen here? It's like, MBG, the only way you're getting out of this is you're going to have to come back with a diagnosis. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. I shouldn't be, because it's not funny. Because it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's true. Titus is like, no, it's okay. No, but you see, and I thought I was going to talk about. We're talking about Metal Gear now. Mrs. MBG says yes. Yeah, we're talking about Metal Gear now. All right. Mentally ill? No, but some mental health issues, yes. What's the difference? Cheese is like 100% you are. The way you have this crazy loyalty to one thing. Gaming everywhere is freedom. I mean, yeah. I love how that's what makes me mentally ill. It's not anything other than that, MBG. It's because of that. We all have a little bit of autism. Rich is like straight up no Xbox. Rich, don't you own an Xbox, man? Don't you own an Xbox? Mentally ill gamer. Oh my God, yeah. MIB. No, not Men in Black. Mentally ill gamer. Can you just try it for us? Yeah. I mean, listen, I do believe that, in all seriousness, you know, I do believe that something that would be, like I said, all around beneficial. It's not about forsaking one thing for another, because I've already been down that road. I also don't know that it's, hey, that thing you like or you prefer, forsake that too, or put that in the trunk. I think it really is just going to be, I think it's just going to be a matter of experimenting, being willing to try new things. You know, I don't know that I'm like truly mentally ill as much. I mean, maybe I am, but I just think I'm a very stubborn individual. You know, I'm a stubborn individual to a fault. I mean, you can ask Mrs. MBG, you can ask anybody in my life. I'm probably the most, I'm stubborn to a point where I annoy the absolute fuck out of people. You know, like I'm stubborn to a point where people will look at me and be like, what is wrong with you? And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I was dropped on my head as a baby. Okay, listen, I don't know if I was dropped on my head as a baby, but what I can tell you is when I was like 6 years old, I ran full speed into the corner of a brick pillar. I hit my head so hard, I knocked my ass out. Ambulance was there. I was in the ER. It was all messed up. And one of the only things I can remember, I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. One of the only things I can remember is in the back of the ambulance, and the paramedic. There was some woman, she's shining a light in my eyes, and I'm like, I'm knocked out, brother. And she's like, "Can you hear me? Can you answer me?" And I'm like, And she's like, "What do you like to watch?" She's like, "Do you like Blue's Clues?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I Blue's Clues is my favorite show, dude." It was so fun. I don't know why that's like all I can remember. I can only remember this woman asking me if I like Blue's Clues. And I was a kid at the time, and I'm watching Blue's Clues. That's a real story. No joke. Like I probably sustained brain damage. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just saying, as far as I'm aware, I was not dropped on my head as a child. I don't know if I was. I'll have to ask my mother. I don't think so. But I can tell you, I've had a couple times where I have hit my head. You like Bluey? I have the Bluey Platinum. That's right. You see what I'm saying? Me and my son, we played the Bluey game together on PS5. We got the Platinum. What are you doing to me, Sony? I don't know. How did this conversation go from I want discs to I'm not a grifter to I like multiple platforms to I'm mentally handicapped? ? Don't you understand by now, Michael? It's all part of the MBG experience. It's all part of the MBG experience. I love how me smashing my head into a wall, that is the origin story. If you want to know where it all went wrong, why I am the way I am, this is why. Yeah, Rich, calm down. Rich, you keep it up. I'm going to buy an Xbox just to play GTA 6 on the Xbox. And I'm going to make you watch. We're going to strap you down, keep your eyes open, and we're going to force you to watch. All right. Metal Gear time. It's Metal Gear time. Guys, hit the like button. We have a breadth of topics. Indeed, we do. Nobody can come to my stream and say we don't have topics. We got topics. I can't guarantee they'll be the ones you want. But to be clear, I did want the conversation to focus more so on the games this stream. That was my intention. But I do think that, people have some questions, and that's totally fine. Got to answer those questions. All right. I go on for longer than I need to. Let's talk about Metal Gear. All right, guys. In about 1 month, the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2 is coming out. And the two games that are launching with it, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Now, Metal Gear Solid 4, pretty famous for being locked on PlayStation 3. It was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots was literally the game that made me get a PlayStation 3 when I was totally happy and content with the Xbox 360. It does go to show that the exclusive tactic does work. But you still haven't played MGS4? Well, you definitely should with this collection, because Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's a little bit crazy, as you would expect with a Kojima game, but I do think that it's really awesome to finally see this game break free of the PlayStation 3 and go everywhere. It is going to be, what did they say here? They put out, hold on, where is it? They put out the specs or the resolutions. Okay, hold on. Why is this so hard to find? All I know is that the game is going to run at 4K 60 frames per second on the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. I'm trying to find the actual picture here, because for some reason I thought it was in the article that I had up, but it's actually not. Oh, here it is. All right. So on the PS5 and PS5 Pro, it'll be 17 gigabytes. Here are the resolution settings you'll be able to choose from: original mode, adjusted mode, high resolution mode, and custom. Now, if I understand correctly, most of those different selectable modes are for Peace Walker, and they mainly only affect the actual cutscenes, where they make them look sharper and a higher resolution. It'll be 4K 60 FPS. What else do they have here? So for Xbox Series X and S, it'll be 26 gigabytes. Same thing. It'll be 4K on the Series X, 60 FPS. On the Series S, it will be 1440p at 60 frames. Nintendo Switch in handheld mode, it'll be 720p. In TV mode, it'll be 720p. Both are going to be locked at 30 frames per second. On the Switch 2, in the handheld mode, it'll be 1080p as well as TV mode. Both will be 60 frames per second. And on Steam, the max resolution will be native 4K, and they're capping you at 60 frames, it seems. It seems like you're not going to be able to go higher than 60 FPS on PC for some reason. And I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't know why they're doing that, but yeah, man. You know what's really cool though? Even though I'm super stoked for Metal Gear Solid 4 and MGS 4 is like that's the game I'm most hyped for by far. Unfortunately, no multiplayer. Metal Gear Online 2 shipped with Metal Gear Solid 4, and man, it was actually really good. It was ahead of its time. But Konami did not know how to properly run an online multiplayer game. It ended up shutting down, and Konami, they just don't know what they're doing when it comes to multiplayer, unfortunately. Like, their developers do. Their developers make really fun multiplayer experiences. When it comes to actually running it and being able to maintain it, they don't know what they're doing. They haven't gone on board with the live service thing, for better or for worse. But here's what's weird about this collection to me. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, it does have multiplayer, and it has two versions. It has co-op, which is what makes Peace Walker so cool. You can play the entire campaign cooperatively, and it has almost like this kind of Monster Hunter type thing going on, but in the Metal Gear universe, except instead of fighting monsters, you're fighting tanks and helicopters. So you fight them cooperatively. Really, really addicting. Peace Walker's a very addicting game, the gameplay loop. But they actually have a competitive PvP multiplayer mode. I remember this when I originally played Peace Walker. I think I played it on the 360 originally. I remember finding it so strange that they had this like tacked on PvP experience where it wasn't like Metal Gear Online, but it was very similar to it. And I'm like, this is weird. And like nobody really played it. They're shipping Peace Walker with this, which I'm genuinely shocked by. As far like they're gonna have the multiplayer PvP experience in Peace Walker with this collection. So it's not necessarily what I wanted. I wanted the the port of Metal Gear Solid 4 to come with the proper Metal Gear Online 2, but instead we're it's like reversed, I'm not sure why they would keep the multiplayer PvP for Peace Walker but not Metal Gear Online 2. Very, very strange to me. But I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it that much, but I played Metal Gear Solid Delta. I did get the platinum for that. And with Metal Gear Delta, I put like 145 hours into Metal Gear Solid Delta because I played a ton of the Fox Hunt mode. That mode was really fun. It was really good. It's dead. Konami really just put out like a multiplayer, add-on for Delta and then just walked away from it. They didn't update it or anything. They just walked away from it. So, you think Peace Walker is the most underrated game in the Metal Gear Solid series? It is really good. It is really, really good. It's unfortunate. Well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but it was made for a handheld, and you can definitely tell when you play it. It was made for a handheld, but it's a mainline Metal Gear Solid game, and it's one of the best. Yeah, I don't know why people are being anti-Xbox. We talked about E-Day earlier. E-Day looks good. You tried to play. Oh, interesting, Henry. You're saying you tried to play Fox Hunt. but you couldn't find any matches. I'm not surprised to hear that. That's why I stopped playing. It got to a point where it's like I'm matchmaking for 5 minutes at a time because you have to restart it after 5 minutes, and just nothing's happening. Nobody played it because it's bad, MBG, not because they didn't update it. Oh, you talking about Fox Hunt? Fox Hunt isn't bad. Fox Hunt is not bad. Are you kidding me? Man. I mean, I streamed that for a while. I got really good at it, though. I got really good at it. So why won't I play it? What, Fox Hunt? MBG Volume 3 will be digital only. Don't remind me. Don't remind me. You're definitely going to play MGS4 when it drops? Got to light up a cigarette? Yeah. Well, MGS4's, I mean, it's funny because I think when Kojima made MGS4, Michael, you're heading out, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you for the support today. I mean, the thing about MGS4 is like it was supposed to be the conclusion to everything. But then Peace Walker happened, and then Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain happened. But I don't know, man. You can, if you play Metal Gear Solid 4, you can definitely tell Kojima's intention is like, we're wrapping everything up and leaving no stone unturned. You're going to have an answer to every question. And I think and there's a lot of fan service in it. I think that's why I loved MGS4 so much too, is there's so much fan service, you know. Some of it's a little bit silly, but boomer shooter. Oh, you're asking why I won't play Gears. No, I answered that question earlier. I mean, right now, the barrier of buying an Xbox, like, it's a tough one. I don't know that I would pay $700 for an Xbox just for Gears of War E-Day. I don't know that I would do that. Now, I could play it on my PC, and maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe that's something I could experiment with, you know? People want me to expand my horizons a little bit here. Maybe I could do that. We will see. Again, the real problem for me with Gears, like I said earlier, is when it's releasing. If Gears released right now, there's a chance I'd play it. A real good chance. Hey, you know what? Let's give it a shot. By the time, what's it coming out in September, right? I mean, come on. No, that's what I'm. Well, the chat's a little bit delayed. I just realized the chat's a little bit delayed. Yeah, so we've been talking a little bit about Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2. Something else I want to say about Metal Gear Solid 4, because that's the thing. I think with Collection Volume 2, we were expecting to get 3 games. We're only getting 2, but I do think Metal Gear Solid 4, it's substantially bigger, if I recall. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a bigger game, and it's a longer game, too, than MGS 1, 2, and 3. So between that and Peace Walker is also kind of a long game. So I feel like it's okay that they're just doing 2 games and not 3. I thought maybe they were going to try to put Metal Gear Solid 5 in there, but I'm not sure what they're going to do with MGS 5. We have a direct donation from Rich Rod. He says, Konami is dead to me. How dare they do that? PS3 and Cell made it what it is. Cowards with no respect. Are you saying they should have kept MGS4 on the PS3? You saying hope it's ass just like Delta was? Fruit Loop. I disagree. I disagree, Rich Rod. Peace Walker was right before the MGS, or before MGS 5 in the timeline. Yeah. I mean, the whole famous thing with Metal Gear Solid 5, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is kind of like the opposite of 4, where like 4 was the grand conclusion where everything was wrapped up and no stone was left unturned. Kojima got to say everything he wanted to say and then some. And then with MGS5, it was kind of the opposite, where MGS5 became such a massive game, but Kojima was never able to finish it. There was like a whole Act 3 that was unfinished. And I mean, it was definitely painful as a Metal Gear Solid fan to see that end that way because, well, I mean, let's face it, MGS5, it's an incredible game. You know, it's the best gameplay experience in the series. Well, I'll be honest, I think MGS4 is the best gameplay experience in the series, but MGS5's gameplay is incredible. But it's so smooth, it's so open, and the mission structure and the freedom, it's awesome. But the story as well, like, I think that's the biggest crime of all with Konami and Metal Gear Solid and the falling out with Kojima is that the fact that Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't finished, it's like, it feels like there is a gap. You know, there is something that's supposed to, Metal Gear Solid 5 is supposed to bridge everything together, you know, in one loop. But the fact that he wasn't able to finish the game in the way that he wanted, it just kind of, I don't know. Tyler, no, you're not getting banned, Tyler. Rich is, like I said, he's just he's got a way. Yeah, I heard. I remember Joshua, the true story of Paz in MGS5. Yeah, I mean, I appreciated at the time. I didn't really appreciate it much, but I knew with MGS5 there was a big twist. You know, the twist wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, but it was a good one nonetheless. And that, like, okay, to me, the biggest mess up that Kojima made with MGS5, and I kind of understand why he did it this way, but the biggest mess up was not having David Hayter reprise his role as Snake. Kiefer Sutherland did a good job as Venom Snake. And if you know the twist, I don't know that I want to spoil it for anybody maybe who hasn't played MGS5 if you're planning on it. But there's a way that they could have brought David Hayter back and kept Kiefer Sutherland that would have worked. But it would have also spoiled the story and spoiled the twist, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I remember I was pretty devastated when they announced that David Hayter would not be reprising his role as Snake, because to me, David Hayter is Snake. He is the voice of Snake. And so, you know, that's one of the things I am looking forward to in both MGS4 and Peace Walker is hearing David Hayter's Snake again. You just picked up MGS5 on sale on Steam. Well, I'm glad I didn't spoil the surprise for you then, Nicodemus. Enjoy it, man. It's a great game. You know what's funny is I think the servers for Metal Gear Online 3 are still up. I could be wrong about that, but you might still be able to play that. Nobody's playing it. Ray's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Do I think Konami's going to try and make a new entry to Metal Gear Solid? That's a great question. I mean, you have to imagine at some point. You know, I'll be honest, man. I could see Konami trying to reach out to Kojima at some point. I don't think Kojima would, though. I don't think Kojima wants to work with Konami again. I don't think he wants to work on. I mean, who knows? Maybe one day Kojima will be like, you know, I really do kind of want to make Metal Gear again, and maybe they could work things out. But the assumption is that eventually, at some point, I love how Titus just completely tries to derail it by asking about The Last of Us Online cancellation. At some point, Konami is going to want to continue the Metal Gear series. How they do that, I don't know. Let me give...
Boasty, read me. It's time to feed the beast.
Speaking of David Hayter, perfect timing. All right, relax. Really, Ray? You didn't like Metal Gear Rising? I feel like that's a hot take, man. I feel like a lot of people like Metal Gear Rising. Metal Gear Rising was interesting. Konami and Kojima are dead to you? Jeez. Well, I think Konami is going to remake Metal Gear Solid 1. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think Konami has to worry about making another mainline Metal Gear Solid game for a long time. Because, you know, they're doing their collections, but they're going to remake games. You know, they're going to remake, presumably, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5. They could do a remake of Peace Walker. They could do a remake of Portable Ops. They could even go as far. And I would be interested to, you know what I would really be interested to see Konami do? I've floated this idea before. It would be really cool to see them try to remake the original Metal Gear 1 and 2. I know that would be a massive undertaking for them. It would be incredibly risky. It would be difficult, but that would be awesome to see. You know, where if they could just get Kojima's blessing to do that. Or maybe, I don't know. I've said this before too. Maybe Kojima wouldn't necessarily be directly involved. Maybe Kojima would be willing to consult on that. Where it's like, hey, Kojima, we're going to be remaking, re-envisioning, I guess you could say. What's the word? Is that the word you would use? Because it's not even a remake at that point, dude. It's just like a complete reimagining of the original Metal Gear 1 and 2 games. Maybe Kojima would be willing to consult. It's like, he's like, I want to direct. Let me direct. Membership video on the whole MGS franchise? Perhaps. I mean, I'm certain when I do I'll definitely be doing some gameplay commentary for members on Metal Gear. Absolutely. I don't know if it'll be like a deep dive of the whole franchise per se, but yeah, if you are a channel member, look forward to that. I'm going to try to keep doing some gameplay commentaries. At some point, we're going to be doing a members lounge. I want to do the members lounge. The only problem is I need to make sure I can do it on a day where I'm not in pain. Like, the members lounge is not going to be fun if I'm doing it after a regular stream and then it's like my neck is killing me. But I definitely want to bring it back. Watch them reveal MGS1 remake at the PS6 showcase event. Book it. We have the one thing. Wow, Boston like those new treats. I bought a new type of treat. It's like a Meow Mix treat. None of the cats seem to like it. I mean, an MGS1 remake, I would assume, will be multi-platform. I mean, it's possible, Sony. Listen, I told you guys, regardless of how you feel about the PS6, one of the tactics Sony will probably deploy in an attempt to win people over for the PS6 is big exclusive games from second and third parties. I absolutely could see Sony throwing a lot of money at Konami to secure, assuming it's an MGS1 remake, to secure that. I could see that happening. No, Rich. I'm not burning it. That's crazy. Would have to be a remake of Metal Gear 1 or 2. MGS 1 is already too good. You think Physint will destroy the Metal Gear Solid remakes? I mean, Physint is going to be really good. Yeah, Physint's going to be really, really good, man. Can't deny that. Kojima returning to his roots. I mean, it's so exciting. It's hard not to be super excited about that. Just because, like, we know that he's not making Metal Gear anymore. This pretty much is his new Metal Gear. And I loved Death Stranding 1 and 2. But there's no denying that Death Stranding 1 and 2 are not Metal Gear. And that's fine. They didn't need to be. But it's going to be exciting. I'm curious to see, like, obviously there are going to be aspects of Physint that are like, oh, that's Metal Gear. I just wonder how far it's going to go. Like, how much of it is really going to be like, that's Metal Gear? It'll be interesting to watch, certainly. Well, Rich, I will let you know, Physint is definitely going to go to PC at some point, probably like a year and a half. Keep in mind that even though Sony is going back to making their first-party games exclusive, they are also allowing their second-party exclusives, which Physint is a second party. They're going to allow them the option to still go to PC, maybe timed. Which is, it's like at that point, I mean, geez, man, why? Who knows, though? Maybe Sony could negotiate something if they really wanted to. If Sony was willing to give Kojima enough money, I'm sure they could make anything happen. Remember, PlayStation is a partnership with Konami. It was confirmed at one of the state plays. That's true. Yeah, they gave Konami a whole section of the last state of play, or the February state of play. I believe it was the February state of play. And it was huge. It's like, geez, man, it took up like 15 minutes. What else would I want from Metal Gear? It's hard to say. It is hard to say. I mean, when we talk about the idea of Metal Gear continuing beyond MGS5, I mean, I feel like one of the things people want is we want a proper conclusion to MGS5. How do you do that without Kojima? I think the problem with Konami wanting to continue Metal Gear without Kojima, there's a lot of problems. Because when you look at the Metal Gear Solid timeline, yeah, Metal Gear Rising is the only game that takes place after MGS4. MGS4 is technically the last Metal Gear Solid game in the timeline. And then you have Metal Gear Rising. I don't know where they go. Like, I almost just said a spoiler for MGS4. I can't say the spoiler, but I'll say this. For those of you who have played Metal Gear Rising, you know that there's something revealed in that game regarding a character from MGS4 that you understand, like, unless they're willing to retcon certain things, where do you go from here? You get what I'm saying? It's possible that they could try to explore other characters. I don't know, man. I do not envy the position that Konami's going to be in when they run out of remakes. They can no longer do remakes. They've done all the collections. If they do decide at some point we want to continue the Metal Gear series, I don't know what they're going to do. Prince, we got to have a talk. Prince G, we have to have a talk. Bro, you need to stop being so rude. Okay? Like, I try to be tolerant because you can be chill, you know, but you got to stop being so rude. You've been rude to me. You're being rude to Titus right now in the chat. You got to chill, man. All right. All right. I'm just asking you to be respectful. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong about that, Demon Killer. Is the reason why Sony's pulling these stunts, they no longer have competition. Yeah. I mean, that's true. It's why I am genuinely curious to see what happens with the next gen console reveals. Not just for Sony, but for Helix as well. Will MGS work on today's kids? I think Kojima MGS was a product of its time. He was doing things that could only be done on the old hardware. I mean, I don't know. I think Metal Gear can still find an audience today. I do think that there are, like, even if it's just based on the gameplay, you know, the gameplay of the Metal Gear Solid games is incredible. So I think just based on that alone, you know, it could definitely find an audience today. I mean, I will say when it's anecdotal, but when Metal Gear Solid Delta came out, there were quite a few people on my channel who were like, I've never played Metal Gear. This is going to be my first one. And it was fun to see. It was fun to see how, like, you know, people who are experiencing this game for the first time are like, whoa, this is a trip, man. I'm like, yes. Yes, it is. All right. I'm certain we will continue our conversations regarding Metal Gear Solid as we move forward, because this is a game I'm very excited to play it. Gotta be honest. We do have one other game I want to talk to you guys about, though, but it's because there's something really interesting that's being done with it. So how many of you guys are excited for the game, The Blood of Dawnwalker? Now, this game is coming out, I believe, September 1st. So it's really close. And there's a lot of footage of it out there. But the thing I wanted to reveal to you guys here, well, not reveal, that makes it sound like it's secret, report to you guys, is that they're confirming there's going to be a feature for this game that is very uncommon. And a lot of people think about Mass Effect with this feature. They're confirming that you will actually be able to transfer your save data to future games. So this is a pretty big deal because they're confirming that there's going to be numerous games. There's going to be, you know, I mean, they made it clear they want to make it a franchise. They want to make it a series. So with that, they're saying whatever choices. So for the Blood of Dawnwalker, it's going to be very choice heavy. You make decisions. Whatever choices and decisions you make in those games, when they come out with the Blood of Dawnwalker 2, 5 or 6 years from now, as long as you don't delete your save data or you back it up, you'll be able to transfer it over to the next game. And the future games are being developed with this in mind. This was a really big selling point for the Mass Effect games. And, you know, I don't know if there's any other games that do it, but it was done really well with the Mass Effect series. So I thought this was really cool. The Blood of Dawnwalker, this is not going to be a game I play day one. It's a game I want to play, though. It looks good to me. You can tell that it's former CD Projekt Red developers. You know, I mean, you could definitely tell. You're not feeling it. You're going to wait for the reviews. It'll be interesting to see how it reviews. You think the combat looks pretty lackluster? I feel like CD Projekt Red is kind of known for, like, not amazing combat, especially in, like, the Witcher series, right? You're getting it day one, Titus? You've been watching all the previews. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think is cool is the ambition. Like, I just like the idea that they're just, they're kicking off a new franchise, and they have this big ambition, about multiple games, transferring your saves, and it looks good, man. It looks good. Like, there's nothing I've seen of it that looks bad, I think you can maybe tell a little bit that, like, it's their first game, in the sense that, like, they're an independent studio, and they're, they probably, it seems like they had a pretty decent budget to work with, but I like the idea of it being, I don't know why, but the angle they took, where it's like you're playing as a vampire. I think that's so cool, because one of the things that they said they're going to do with future entries is you're going to play as the same character in different time periods. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, if they pull that off, that's actually awesome, because you're immortal. So, you could maybe see a modern day, like the Blood of Dawnwalker 3. It's set in modern day. That's sick. I like that. We have Neo, a member for 24 months. He says, I think Christopher Judge might be in Intergalactic. He has an interview talking about an upcoming game shown later this year with a, quote, with the best cast in games, end quote. Interesting. Christopher Judge, Kratos himself, in Intergalactic. I could see that. I mean, wasn't he was in Star Trek, right? Right? Am I wrong on that? Intergalactic does have a pretty big cast, yeah. We'll see. We'll see if that's the game he's talking about. It's like he's in GTA 6. But Neo, thank you for the milestone, man. Thank you for being a member for so long. You're definitely going to buy Blood of Dawnwalker day one to support the devs. The Blood and Wine DLC for The Witcher was so good. Love the vampire guy in it. Virko, you're saying you're going to pass on Dawnwalker, but it's on your radar. Wolverine and Control will be taking your September releases. Oh, Stargate. Right, my bad. Is that what I got it confused with? He was in Stargate. What did I say? Star Trek? Okay. So that was in the ballpark, I guess. Stargate, you uncultured swine. Yeah, man, I meet Christopher Judge. Oh, yeah, I heard you were in Star Trek, right? It's like, bro. All right. Titus, did I miss your last super chat? Hold on. Let me check, Titus. Titus. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. My bad, man. Why does it keep doing that? I'm so sorry, Titus. I'm sorry, man. You did drop I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else, too. A 10 euro super chat saying, I agree. You don't need to justify yourself. I'm still mad at Sony because of all of the decisions during this gen. So I printed and laminated the text, I hate Sony PS logo, to see it at work every day. You're doing your part. You're doing your part, Titus. That's funny shit, man. Did you really do that? That's funny. Well, I appreciate it, Titus. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We're like, I got some good people here, man, and I don't want to ruin anything. I mean that. Like, I could try to go in different directions in the name of trying to get greater viewership. And obviously, I want to grow my channel. I want support, but the thing that I've always prided myself on my channel is, like, people have always, those who have supported, I think they maintain their support, and not everybody maintains their support perpetually, things happen, but they've done so because it's like, dude, we just want you to be you, and we want to hear you talk games and, the industry. And that's it. Like that's it, man. And it's like, I get too far away from that. I get wrapped up in bullshit. And that's on me. That's on me. And you guys deserve better than that. I think anybody who is watching my channel deserves better than that. And I also had to, I know people like the emotionality of it, but sometimes it gets me in trouble. It does. I think quite a few people are going to play Onimusha. You skipped Yote when it came out, but now you've signed up for Gamefly. You're going to be renting it. Spixpan, do you work for Gamefly? No, I mean, Gamefly, they've always been like an alternative option. They've always been a good option, I'd say. But yeah, The Blood of Dawnwalker. This game, let me see. Hold on. A glimpse into... Oh, so they released a video titled A Glimpse into the Future. The developer teased last month that Cohen's story, that's the main character, will continue, spanning centuries and carrying him to various corners of the world and far beyond Val Sangora. New adventures, new powers, new dilemmas, and dark ancient secrets waiting to be uncovered. I like it. I like it, man. I mean, geez, you could tell. You can tell this game's going to be successful because they're already talking about, a sequel. I imagine this game's going to be successful for them. You got the Yote DualSense, but haven't played the game yet. I mean, Spixpan, you're not wrong, dude. That's an interesting counter. It is. Guys, listen, I will tell you though, we are going to be wrapping the stream up in a few minutes because we've reached the end of the road here for today's discussions. I meant to have more thorough game talk. I think we did a pretty good job. Could have been better. Could have been better. Too much. I'm creating the Streisand effect on myself here, which is not good. So I'm going to stop doing that. At least I'm going to try to. But if you want to drop any more support before we wrap up, I think we got 2.5 minutes here, and I'm going to wrap it up. If you want to drop any last minute support, now is the time to do that. I appreciate everything you guys have done for the channel. Let's see. I'm going to just double check and make sure I didn't miss any chats. I think we're good. I think I got everything. Gotta like double check that these days now. Let me see. Did YouTube turn ads on again? No, they didn't. All right, good. Wait, who were we talking about in Stargate? Oh, we were talking about Christopher Judge. I said I thought he was in Star Trek, but he was actually in Stargate because I'm uncultured swine. Saying it's unfortunate that Gamefly will not have GTA 6 because there's no disc. As much as I hate to say this, I'm going to wait for GTA 6 to come out on PC. I do wonder how long it'll take. I mean, I feel like it's going to take a minimum 1 year. How do you gift memberships on mobile? If you're on mobile, at the bottom of the chat, there should be a dollar icon sign. Dollar icon sign? There should be a money sign or a dollar sign. You click that, it should give you the option to gift. If you're on iOS, if you're clicking that and you don't see it and you're on iOS, that might be why. In that case, you'd either have to do it on desktop or, I mean, not many people do this, and, I don't encourage people to do it because it's a pain in the in the ass. But people who are on iOS and they really want to gift memberships, sometimes they have to do it through like Google Chrome, which is really annoying because you have to do it through like YouTube's, like the website or whatever. Rich, you're saying your channel doesn't allow me to gift on mobile iPhone. I don't know what's wrong with that. It's weird because some people come to my channel and are like, yeah, I can gift through my iPhone on this person's channel, but not yours. I'm telling you, there's no setting. There's nothing. It's just I'm not in control of that. I don't know why. It only hurts me, though. I'll tell you that. It only hurts me. I've been waiting to see if that's ever going to change. But I always appreciate the gesture from you guys. I'm trying to rebuild the, member content here. We're going to be doing that in the coming weeks and months. Oh, you're going to Chrome. Oh, he's doing it. Spickspan says he's going to Chrome. He's going to do it. Wow. He's going above and beyond here. Well, I appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you. And yeah, just a reminder to all my channel members, I did do a members only video that I released a couple days ago. My first ever gameplay commentary on the channel. Played some Dark Souls, and it's about 30 minutes long, and it's very chill, very relaxed, different type of content. So if you are a member and you're looking for something a little bit different, go check that out. Probably be bringing back the Members Lounge very soon. I want to bring back the Members Lounge, but I just want to make sure I'm going to be able to do it right because it's been harder. It's been getting harder and harder to do these 3.5 to 4.5 hour streams because my neck pain starts to build up to a degree where it's like, this is difficult. This position I'm in right now, I can maintain this for quite some time, which is nice. What is my favorite Soundgarden album? Jeez, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's Down on the Upside. I gotta admit, that's their last album, and I know that's probably not many people's favorite, but there's just some songs on that album that I'm like, dude, these songs are incredible. But it's such a hard choice because they have so many incredible songs on their other albums. But Down on the Upside, I think I have to say Down on the Upside just because that's the album I find myself listening to the most from Soundgarden. But Bad Motorfinger is bad. So here's how it goes. Bad Motorfinger is my favorite Soundgarden album if I want something more energetic. Down on the Upside is my favorite Soundgarden album when I'm looking for something more mellow and, dare I say, a little bit depressing. And Ray, RU46N2 Ray in the chat has dropped the P.O. Box address. If you guys are at all interested in that, I do have a P.O. Box still open. If you want to send something, feel free to do that. There's the address. And he also dropped the Discord link in the chat. So if you want to join the MBG Discord, feel free to do so. You don't have to be a member to join the Discord. But, I just ask you guys to be respectful of one another. And there we go, the Spickspan. Big shout out to Spickspan. He comes in. He drops 5 more gifts to close it out today. He went out of his way to do that. He went to Google Chrome to make it happen. Thank you so much for 5 more gifts there, buddy, to cap it off at 30.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is very much appreciated. Well, there we go. I think that'll be a good place to wrap it up. Spickspan closes it out with 5 members gifted, and that's fine, Rich Rod. That's fine. Yeah. You're cool with waiting for GTA 6 on PC. You have a ton of games to play already, not including all that's coming out this fall. Yeah, that's you're not wrong, Nicodemus. And Rich Rod comes in. Oh, look at that. Rich Rod comes in. He's like, hold on. We got a little last second member train going. He drops 5 more member gifts for you guys. taking us to 35. I mean, this does happen on occasion, guys. It's not often, but on occasion we get like a little member thing going right before we close out. So I'll give it a second here. People might be feeling inspired. They're like, maybe we can go further. Thank you for that, Rich. Spickspan and Rich, thank you guys so much. Spickspan says, F Jason Schreier and Corpo propagandists. He had to get that in. He had to get that in before we go. W's in the chat for Rich and Spickspan. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll give it a second here. Do you guys want to get it to 40? Do you want to get it to 45? We could cap it out at 35. I'll leave it up to you. Yeah, I saw that, Dwayne. That's incredibly depressing. That's a damn shame. Stop it, Rich. No, Rich. Those gifts were in the name of supporting what I do here. Rich likes me. He won't admit it. He likes me. He really likes me. But yeah, Dwayne, I saw that. That was very sad, man. Yeah, the world is a crazy place, dude. It really is. But it's tough. It's tough. Spickspan says, "Get it to 50, y'all." I'm giving him a couple minutes here. I'm giving him a couple minutes. If we got to 50, I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised we got to 35. I wasn't necessarily expecting that today. And to get to 50, we would need 15 more. So it would definitely, I think it would have to be a group effort. But it's up to you. Get it to 200? Yeah, if only. We'll get it to 200. Let's get it to 200 members. Yo, Frank Cosmo comes in, though. Frank. Dude.
Holy shit.
Frank Cosmo comes in and says, we're getting it to 50. And then Spickspan, he's like, he drops another 5. So they tag teamed it. Okay, now I'm genuinely surprised. Now I'm surprised. Frank drops 10. Spickspan drops 5. And that brings us to 50 on the day. That's how I feel on the inside. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that. I genuinely didn't expect that. I did not expect that. I thought, you know what? We made it to 25 today. That's damn good. That's damn good. I always put 50 there if you guys want to take it further. Sometimes we take it even further than that. We got to 50 at the end. Not bad. Not bad. You guys never fail to surprise me, honestly. So there we go. We rounded it out at 50 members on the day. And just once again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's just because, honestly, it's because I want people to watch it. I do. If you are a channel member, please go check out the gameplay commentary under the members section that I put out. Again, it's the first gameplay commentary I did. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit more personal. And the people who left feedback, they seem to really, really like it. So it would be cool to get some type of members content flowing like that. I just need a little bit of encouragement, just need a little bit of encouragement to keep going with that. But all right, this is where we will close it out. Guys, I want to say thank you. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Thank you for dealing with my insanity and my possible mental illness. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Big shout out and thank you to everybody who dropped any support today. If you dropped member gifts, if you became a member, if you dropped super chats or direct donations, really, really appreciate that. You guys are the only reason I can do what I do here. And, I these days with the way things are going, there's always some nervousness. I don't know which direction things are going in. This could be over at any moment. And so appreciate you guys keeping it going for us here for the community as well. Means a lot. And I also want to make sure to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps for the streams. So if you guys see him in the comments with those timestamps, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he appreciates it. So Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, man. Oh, you're saying, Devil Shooter, about the AI timestamps. They were 80% mine. All AI can do is copy others' work. Corporations spending billions to plagiarize work. That's what the CEOs were taught in school to not do. Damn. Well, no, yeah, AI can't replace Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter's legit. He sits here and he listens to the whole stream. The whole stream. He's a real one. We're here for you, MBG. Thanks for the streams, buddy. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And you're welcome. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I did put out a news video earlier as well. If you guys want more content, you can go check that out. But the final word I'll say here before I head out is, yeah, my hope on the channel is I'm going to try to make sure we have more discussions about games. If you come here for industry talk, you're still going to get that. If you come here for platform talk, you're still going to get that. But at the end of the day, the realization I had in all of this is, and again, I was inspired by Mystic's video where it's like, I can't walk away from the games, man. Doesn't mean I'll only play on one place. I will try to expand my horizons as time moves forward. I think that can only be beneficial. But it's always been about the games, right? I mean, without the games, what the hell are we even doing here? So, guys, please enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night. I hope to see you all very soon. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. But that's going to do it. Until the next one, guys. Take care. And thank you.